Welcome to the SLTP, aka the Secret Lorcana Testing Podcast. As you may notice, I am not Dylan Edge. I am R2 or Pete. I'm going to be stepping in to host for a little bit while Dylan and his partner just had a baby. So congrats to Dylan. He's been posting pictures. Everyone's in great health. He's playing a lot of TFT right now in his downtime, so he's doing great. We've got Josh Shadox as normal, and this week we got J-Bomb with us.
Howdy.
Howdy.
This is a kind of odd timing for the podcast because we're 1 week away from set 7. We just did card reveals, so there's not a ton of information. But at the there was an event over in Europe, I believe. Was it called Gamma?
Yeah, I think it was GAM. I forgot exactly what it's.
Yeah. But they
stands
revealed a bunch of Reign of Jafar stuff. So we got to see sealed product for that, troves, artwork. There's a new Illumineer's Quest coming out. That's kind of like the Ursula one, but for Jafar. Any bits of that stand out to either of you guys?
Yeah, it seems like they're almost going to do like one big bad guy a year and have a kind of like side game with it. So I think that's kind of interesting and gets like people more active on the casual side, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like Ursula's Return, right? Was the name of the other one?
It was actually the Illumineer's Quest.
Illumineer's Quest in Ursula's Return.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one was like actually not too bad. Fairly difficult too. But this one, I think the most noticeable thing was the packaging's a lot different because Ursula's Return was in like a sort of disposable kind of.
It was kind of in like the same thing that like the gift boxes come in, where it's just like you rip it open and you can't put anything back in. It's just a mess. So people like mine is sitting in a trove that someone 3D printed. So it has like 3 slots for the 2-player decks, the Ursula deck, then other slots for the other stuff, and it's really nice. But it would be cool too to get a product that just you can open it, put it back in, and that looks like what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can quickly just share what it looks like.
Yeah, there it is.
This here.
Some people have been saying it seems similar size to the Gateway, that Learn to Play product.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know without dimensions. Sure, maybe it is, but
hard to tell, but definitely much better than before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I do really like, I guess, like the coloring scheme of everything. I like the cream plus the red makes like a good combination there. And then I guess going into like the next product would be the actual packs here.
Oh, so someone pointed something out. So Minnie is on one of these boosters, and they pulled up a picture. If you look, actually, you can see it here in this picture. The booster, her eyes are looking a different way than her eyes on the display at the top.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what that means, if it means anything, or if that was just an artistic choice they did.
If I had to guess, one was like an earlier design, and then they like switched it at some point. And one of them is going to be like the final design. Likely the one on the pack, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, that's really interesting though. That's
Someone's got a good eye for those eyes.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a problem or anything.
Someone posted that somewhere. Yeah.
Either that or the drawings are alive and it was caught mid-picture or something.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, we're actually going to be...
Like a Toy Story kind of thing.
We're going into Harry Potter.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, like, still the standard 12 cards per pack and, everything else.
Yeah, got Rapunzel coming, so probably a new Rapunzel card. Looks like Tiana and Bruno, so, more madrigals, more of the... Oh, can't remember what Tiana's from. What's Tiana from?
Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, yep. Prince and the Frog, yeah.
Very good movie.
Yeah. What else did they show? Oh, I guess...
we got the
starters
single
here.
Players, yep. The starter decks.
Now, I heard something interesting on this starter deck, a theory of you see Mulan holding that item and Stitch holding like a plasma blaster. Someone was theory crafting that the new mechanic for this set could be like item equip, where they get an extra like exert ability if you put an item on there, or like they get some like power if you equip some sort of item to them.
That'd be cool, because I also heard people thought that was going to be this set, because when Bolt was the first character revealed for Arcadia's Island, people were kind of like, oh, his like arm guard is something, maybe it's like an equipment that he gets on him. But yeah, these are existing items in the game, Last Cannon and the Plasma Blaster. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's interesting, yeah. And then meanwhile on the other side it's just
they're just singing.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if they're singing, that's a good sign, because and maybe I'll include this in like the notes or something. The song count has been going down since the opening set.
Yes.
I'm maybe concerned that they don't know how to balance songs properly, or they're just waiting and biding their time. But there's only 4 songs for Arcadia's Island. That's crazy.
Yeah, not every color, right? That one.
Yeah, I think one color got 2. But yeah, just great. So hopefully this maybe leads to more song stuff. We definitely have a lot of singers and singing payoffs. We just need better songs, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, more sing together. I want more sing together stuff.
Just quickly checking now. It's so there's 5 songs, and there is an amber, an amethyst, an emerald, and a sapphire, and then there's an amber amethyst family.
Oh right, it was a dual. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, only
5 songs. Okay. 5, maybe the dual ink didn't get captured in my sheet. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, anything else interesting to add about the decks? I mean, one is also Amber Amethyst, and then one is a Ruby Steel. Ruby Steel's interesting to see here.
Yep. Nope, it all looks good. I'm excited about the deck boxes, actually.
From set 7 to set 8, so we'll finally get those at that point, yeah.
No. I mean the Reign of Jafar jet boxes.
Oh.
Do you have that image, or is that...
yeah, I have the image with like everything, that one. Like this one.
Yeah, Enchanted Tinkerbell.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
And they have improved the deck boxes. From a set or 2 ago, they put little like notches on the back, so they're easy to open. If you have one of the deck boxes from the first 3 or 4 sets, they are really difficult to open. Almost feels like you're gonna break them, but they improved that, so that's nice. I know people are really excited about these playmats. I love Rescue Rangers. I think that Hades art is pretty good. Maybe not the best in the game, but pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hades one is like out of the 2 would be my favorite.
That does look good.
Yeah. If only he was a bit more playable, but yeah.
Yeah. That fire pops like so well with Meg in there.
We need like more 11 plus cost characters, because like so many of the things you can cheat out with him are like maybe just a turn early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then I think that was it for everything that was kind of shown. I mean, there's also the trove.
Yep.
But they didn't show what's in the trove yet.
But that's true. They haven't shown the contents yet.
If it follows like all the others, it's going to be like dividers or...
Yeah,
did they still do the dice? Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. Already got set 6 or 8 news.
Yeah. I guess it's probably just the timing of some of those events, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't show up to one and you don't have something cool to show off, it's like, all right, why'd you even show up?
Yeah. And I guess another thing for this set is like the champion mat's been shown as well.
Oh yeah, that just came out. Yep, that's pretty cool.
So interesting that they're getting rid of the runner-up and they're keeping the mat and it's still going to say champion. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I was kind of wondering which way they would go. It makes sense they kept the champion. As someone who has made top 2 a bunch and has willingly taken the runner down one, because I don't like the champion word on it. I just like the clean artwork. I'm a little bummed, but Yeah.
Yeah, my mat conversion rate at set champs is definitely going to go down.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only actually played the second place out once and I lost. So I might be at 0 out of 0 mats if I had to just play for one this whole time.
Yeah. I guess J-Bomb, you're our financial guru. What do you expect in terms of prices for the mats now?
It really just kind of depends on the set. Like, obviously the Stitch one was worth the most because it was the first one. So I don't see Hero here as like a really popular character. The mat's pretty cool, but I it's going to be more expensive than Scar probably because there's only going to be one of them.
Yeah.
And so it'll be more of a scarcity pricing option here as opposed to a like larger demand. So
that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Hero, arguably not even the most exciting character from his IP either. Like if this was another Baymax one, I'm sure that'd probably the demand would be higher.
Oh yeah. People love Baymax.
But they did a Baymax mat, so it makes sense that they didn't do another one. And also we're getting with Arcadia's Island, we're getting the, what is it, We Are Immortal or whatever, the blue card. That's gonna be a playmat. So a lot of big Hero 6 playmats coming out all at once.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if I could how I control this. But anyways, foils also seem to be different in the new set.
Yep. Yeah, someone I think first discovered it when they updated the app. You can tell in there the foiling is kind of all over the entire card. So that's
it looks like almost like the Japanese foiling, I think.
I was going to say, it's reminiscent of what they're doing in Japan, where it's still a cold foil, but it's on more of the card surface. And that's exciting because I've opened 2 boxes, had a friend open a third box with me, so I've seen a bunch of the cards from the Japanese set. They look gorgeous. They're great. So if that foiling's coming to ours, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you think we need like another rarity in Lorcana, like another maybe mid-tier chase rarity, or something higher than Enchanted?
J-Bomb, why don't you start that?
I am very excited to answer this question. I definitely think we do. A lot of the people I talk like with in one of my buy-sell groups a lot with, they really want that as well. They follow Pokemon heavily too, and this, and kind of go where the money goes, and so it's interesting to hear their takes. But they wanted to kind of go off the Pokemon model where there's like another rarity in between Enchanted that's kind of a chase, and then because that drives demand up for the packs, and then when more people open packs, like the prices go up, and then a lot more people are happier from the collectors and the player side.
Yeah, because I know that probably most of us in our competitive circles, we buy singles for maybe not even the entire set. We just buy maybe the deck we're going to play.
Yeah.
And we just play that.
Last set was the first time I switched.
Yeah, I don't really open a ton of sealed other than like the opening rush of everyone's opening stuff and it's fun. But then after that, it's like, I don't see the merit to it. So if there was full art stuff, I'll use Pokemon as the example because I'm playing a lot of Pokemon Pocket, but all those different alt arts, full arts, different ways to bling out like a character that you want in a deck, I want that.
Oh yeah, all those alt arts are awesome, and as long as like Lorcana sticks to that, where the really 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 hard to get cards aren't functionally different than other cards, then I think it's okay. Because that's where I ran into a problem in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I literally couldn't afford to play a deck because you need 4 or 3 or 4. I can't even remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 3 or 4 cards now, but you need 3 of the most expensive like card in the set. So it's like you need to spend $900 to even play like a competitive deck like out of the gate. So
yeah,
as long as they don't do that,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Got kind of crazy. It's 3 of, yeah. The only reason I remember it's 3 of is because the tiers of the ban restricted list is like 1, 2, 3. So that's the only way I remember.
Yeah, I should remember that as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Judge.
and that's something that from what I've been told, I don't play the Pokemon TCG. I just collected it when I was a kid, but that apparently is something that they have figured out pretty well. that meta decks are very cheap if you have no bling to it. I guess like maybe the most recent one, I think it was like a $60 deck, one whatever large event just happened. But then the price of it increases when you start wanting more stuff. But even then, it's not like flesh and blood levels of card prices. So
Flesh and Blood is a bit it's a bit unique too, because a lot of those big card prices. So the way Flesh and Blood works is like you have your hero, and then they have their class, which is like Ninja or Guardian or whatever it is, and then you play cards that are for Guardian or for Ninja, or sometimes they're a combination of like Elemental Ninja or something, right? So the good thing about those cards is they're somewhat generic for that class. So if you want to play another Guardian hero, you can still use the same cards you've bought for the other one.
Yeah.
So it is. Yeah, it's still definitely an expensive game. Cost. Yeah, it's still a big upfront cost. Yeah. But there's a lot of reusability.
Because their format's mostly about like rotating the heroes or the characters or whatever.
They have an interesting system. So depending on how good a hero does in an event, they earn like living legend points, and once they reach a certain cap, that hero gets banned.
Okay, that's
so basically, if this guy's too overpowered, that's it. You had your fun.
Gone. Yeah,
you go.
They had when Keyforge first started out, that was kind of their system. Kind of basically when you would win with a deck, you would get chains on it, and chains were just detrimental things to start your match with. You could not draw as many cards, so the more you won, the more chains you had. So it got to a point where your deck, okay, I might as well just go find a new deck to play and not this one anymore. So basically, like it would ban the deck. Yeah.
It's funny though, because like if we had that system in Lorcana, I know a lot of people complain about Red Blue, but Red Blue's hasn't won, like actually won that much compared to like.
And when it had, it was mostly in Europe. It hasn't been in the States. I know it's always there, but like, I mean, we can talk about Diablo and his just streak of just winning almost every single DLC.
Yeah, like Scream.
Yeah.
We like drawing cards. I don't know what to say.
Drawing cards when other people draw cards. We're just about inclusivity of draw.
It's our cards.
Yeah, these are our cards too. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much covers like set 8 stuff. I think that pretty much also covers like this set stuff, because again, like you said, there's no like real new news. Set comes out in like what? Today's the 27th, so in about 10 days?
A week from tomorrow.
Oh no, 8 days, yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting. Do you guys do any like launch day stuff?
I used to, but like since I've switched to just buying singles, I have not as much. I used to do so much sealed. Like set 2 and 3, I probably did like 20 sealed events for each. So like I love those.
Well, I mean, in set 2 and 3, we were still afraid we weren't going to get product. So, like,
so that's
doing sealed was, like, probably the way to get product. So we're like, all right, we got to go to, like, 3 sealed events on this opening day.
Exactly.
But now that's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, like, so. I don't know. I still, like, enjoy playing an occasional sealed or a draft here and there, whichever. But also, like, events are kind of scarce around here for after the release of a set. So after the release of a set, for like a good month or so, there's probably like a few, box tournaments, case tournaments. But then after that, then things kind of fall off. So it's like get it in while you can.
And is this the set, or is it set 8 that they're starting with like the new OP items where they like give out promos for buying boxes and stuff like that?
This set is buy a box. It's the Kronk.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So you'll get the Amethyst Emerald Kronk. You don't have to discard card. I think that's him.
Yeah. And then they also have, I forgot where I saw it. They also released like the new what's it called, like OP rules for like their OP kit and stuff.
Yep.
And I think I saw there's like a pre-release pack rush thing they can do too, and you get Snow White, I believe, for participating or something. Yeah.
Pack rush is actually really fun. I did the Valentine's Day free one with a buddy who'd never played Lorcana before, and we had like a blast. And then he's like, "Yeah, I got this stupid Sisu card I can't play," and I was like, "Give me that when you're done."
Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll take it all back. I guess also, like, in terms of this coming set, do you think this set is a buy overall?
I think this has more playable legendaries than we've seen in a lot of sets, which really helps out the value of the set. And so I think a lot of packs are going to be either opened, and also I've heard that the allocations are down on this set too. So
I've also heard that
we could see like an interesting perfect storm where I doubt we'll see this, but it is possible that there's like a perfect storm of not a lot of people buying packs, and then certain legendaries are just really expensive out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this set's one of the better sets within like the last maybe two or I'll say two for sure. I don't know about three.
Yeah, in terms of just EV, like or expected EV.
Yeah, because the other thing that really boosts this set for me is the enchanteds actually look really good.
Oh yeah. They kind of went back to the set one style of just simple foil, good pattern, like nothing, no gimmicks, just they look good.
And also decent choices for enchanteds too. Yeah. This time, yeah.
I just completed my set 5 all enchanteds, and then the reveals for this started, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna need more now. Like the Tamatoa is gorgeous. Yeah, that is some amazing artwork.
That's like a top 3 art for me. That one looks so good.
Probably going to be a top 3 enchanted in terms of cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at the legendaries, there's playables in most of them. It's like Blue, Lady Tremaine, and like Aurora that are just okay. I'm sure people are going to try Donald. People are going to do Return of Hercules. People are going to try that Mickey Mouse out. There's, an OTK combo deck with Minnie Mouse. That's cool.
Yeah. And I should note for the EV too, like as sets come out, that means the card pool is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So unless there's like significant power creep on these cards, they're going to be less likely to be played. Like in set 1, we had 204 cards, and you had to make 2 colors out of that. So you're playing like not good cards. And so as the sets go on, like every card better be like perfect at what it does to be included. And so unless like the power creep's significant, it's going to be harder and harder for EV to even be there because a lot of these cards are just never going to be playable at all.
Yeah, and I guess like something that stands out a little bit about this set is like a lot of cards look like just nerfed or underpowered versions of existing cards. Like that one card that pops an item and draws one card.
Oh yeah,
it's like Hiram. Yeah,
it's like a half Hiram.
Yeah.
Or the Troubadour. Everyone was like, "Oh, Troubadour is going to replace Vanessa," and then it's like, hold on, you have to think about Rapunzel trades, and that's one of the main reasons that a 1/4 sideline is better than a 1/3 with resist.
Yeah, and that's also like some people were talking about how set 9 may be like a foundation set or a reprint set or the start of rotation.
Yeah.
Do you think it's too early for that?
Rotation's so bad as a person who tries to make money on the game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they did just print essentially like a new Tamatoa style, right? So that's kind of like a replacement there. They're getting a bunch of new types of singers in. So if they rotate out like Ariel, like maybe they thought Ariel was too strong, right? Finding songs and being a singer 5. All right, why don't we go with this like Aurora or the magical ones that have different singing payoffs instead of finding songs, or like I think it is the Madrigal who gets like a 3 cost or less back from your discard. Just different ways to interact with empowering songs. I mean, it would make sense to have a rotation at some point. I just don't know. I haven't been in enough competitive TCGs to know really when's the right time to take that stab. I mean, you can say, well, Magic took a while before they did their rotation, but then you can also look at how Magic did it and then plan your rotation. You don't have to wait that long and then be like, oh, now we're going to rotate. You can plan it out better.
Yeah, I think there needs to be like the rotation or like a ban list, because like with purple cards as they are, pretty much every purple deck for like the end until the end of time or rotation or ban list is just going to play those 12 1-drops and either rabbits or genies like without question, because there's nothing, no downside of those 1-drops. They're always just going to replace themselves. And so like you have like 20 24 cards, 30 cards of your deck just like pre-built whenever you pick purple as a color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like
probably 24 minimum. Yeah,
it's also interesting to note that a lot of those cards are a lot of the, I guess, staples are in set 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if they do rotation, it's like probably just going to be those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess for those who don't like really know what rotation is like eventually when a game becomes like too big, a lot of cards are power crept or they're just not as good as the older cards that were out. Like Hiram, for example, I doubt we'll ever see a card that will top him.
Yep.
And if we do, then the game's in big trouble. So that's why they have like things like rotations or ban lists. So rotation is when they kind of say, you know, these sets are not available to be played. You can only play with like set 4, 5, 6 or something. Which in terms of player wise, like sometimes it sucks having like cards you spent money on, you know, be nullified for competitive play. But usually also with rotation, you introduce another format where you can just play anything.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if that happens and when.
And how they do it, because there's also
and how, yeah.
So like one of the rotations, I've been in rotations in 2 games, Magic and Hearthstone, and both of them kind of did it similarly at different points where they just bring back old cards. Either Magic reprints or Hearthstone like weaves them in. So there's also that weird scenario where it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not just going to go and get rid of my foil rabbits because they banned set 2. Maybe rabbits will be playable again in some format further down as the mainstay or something.
And I think that's a really good point, because when you look at the description of Fabled, they said like some old faces might return, and so that's where I kind of get the impression that it would be a rotation set, and then they'll make that as bringing back some of like your favorite cards that maybe didn't see their heyday because other cards were like just better.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people got this feeling of rotation coming, right? Is like because it says, I think it's like, yeah, if whether you're an old player or a new player, there's something for all of you.
For
or
everybody,
something.
yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be neat to see. Hopefully they don't reprint anything that I own and can sell. So.
Oh, you know what? Another thread to that. In China and Japan, they can't play non-Chinese or Japanese cards. And they're behind in terms of set. They'll catch up eventually at some point because they go fast. Like like Australia and New Zealand. Is it that long? I thought it would be quicker, because in Australia and New Zealand they're already at where we are, and they caught up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think China and Japan are releasing 6 sets a year while we're releasing 4.
And okay, so they're doing a slower cadence than what Australia and New Zealand did.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a world where a rotation happens in Fabled, and us in the States or North America or even Europe try to offload their cards, but we now can't offload our cards to China and Japan because they can't play those cards because they're French or English or something.
Heard it from R2 first. Buy only Chinese and Japanese cards in the future.
Yeah, nothing else.
Yeah.
Discount code SLTP.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, we could talk about the new judge program that Snobby has put a proposal out for.
Yeah. I didn't read or get a chance to fully read it too much, but we definitely need a judge program, I think.
Yeah. I think we've seen enough pieces across DLCs and different formats of events where more training will go further.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to remember this is a young game too. So I know that there was one kerfuffle that happened at an event, and the player I talked to afterwards, he admitted that he didn't know what he could do. So that's also a thing where it's kind of a bummer. Like, everybody at the table should just be like looking to help each other out, kind of. But, but the whole Rackham thing is just kind of yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always like a big, like you said, everybody should be trying to play a fair game, the game of Lorcana, how it's intended to be played, but with it being a competitive situation and stuff, there's always like people take competition in different veins, right? Like some really get into it, some like to skirt the rules, some just full out like to ignore the rules. There's always different people. So without a judge program currently, like we do have like a rule book and all that stuff, but it's also not the most consistent or even currently fully updated.
Yeah, the rule book that also requires you to go into 5 different discords to get the quotes from judges to know exactly what the rulings are.
It's a bit messed up. But hopefully like that would be the first step, is like updating that. And a judge program would help contain everything together. And I think most importantly, it's getting all the judges on the same level. Instead of, one judge being like, oh, I think it works this way, let me confirm. Or some judges don't even confirm that it does work one way. Or, things like that, right? Getting rulings just mixed up.
And currently we don't even have like consistency across continents. Like there's some rulings that go different directions in Europe than they do in North America from the highest level judges, which is interesting, especially if like you're used to playing in NA and you go over there for DLC and like you run into one of those.
Yeah. What's up, Ray? We're just talking about like the judge program stuff that Snobby kind of proposed.
Yeah, and then I actually used to judge Yu-Gi-Oh! And they had a judge program, and so you'd have different levels, and you'd have to take tests and pass those levels. So there, like, you couldn't just show up to an event and say, I like know a lot, like, put me in this level. You had to, like, work your way up and start at, like, deck checks, and, like, you couldn't be a floor judge right off the bat. You had to pass a test or two, and really just go through and understand the rules and how to apply warnings, how to apply game losses and everything, and most importantly, like how to sell it to the players and make them comfortable. Because at the end of the day, you're also like having to act as like an arbitrator and a diffuser of situations at in certain times where some people are not going to be happy. Both parties might not be happy at certain times, and you're gonna make some people unhappy, and so you have to also have like the mental fortitude to deal with that, and some training there and consistency will make the game go a lot smoother and avoid a lot of unfortunate situations that may happen to players that could have been avoidable with on the job training.
Yeah, makes sense. It's essentially like a customer service job, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got to know how to deal with, the good and the bad.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like.
But also knowing how and when to escalate too is important as well.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is like having another shark bait, right? Someone like trying to take advantage of those situations.
Yeah, and then like right now it's just like it's a proposal. It's obviously nothing official, but a lot of judges have the support of implementing a judge program. So hopefully it goes somewhere. I know a lot of work was put into like the proposal and all of it, so they don't have to do too much like building on it, because a lot of the good stuff it's in there and already like set for them.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's been confirmed anywhere, but the rumors of whether PPG will be part of the DLC next cycle or whatever that looks like, Ravensburger could also find whatever companies to help support them in running these events, could find someone who has a judge like program built in to help get people rolling and stuff.
I think what they could do too, because I know Magic the Gathering, what they do is like to get people to like get actual proper training, learn the game properly, to like judge these big events, is like they give off promos I call like judge promos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's more enticing for people like to do their job properly to earn these awards, which is like really kind of cool.
Yeah, that's definitely like also something that needs to be said, is like judges do deserve more than just like possibly covering their trip, right?
Right.
Because you're obviously probably will get like some heat on the back end of the stick, and obviously you're gonna make some like bad calls as well, but like everything's a learning experience, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to give them like awards as stuff for their just to acknowledge their work. Right?
Yeah.
The judge payment has definitely improved since I was a Yu-Gi-Oh judge, where I drive 8 hours on my own dime, pay for my own lodging, and get a booster box for judging for a full weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say Yu-Gi-Oh judging back in the day, the support was it was interesting because I judged, I think it was SJC or YCS Toronto, and then I think I got like a booster box for my weekend, and I'm like, oh, that's nice.
You do it for the fun, like, and that was it. Like, The regionals were good because you'd get the box as well, but they wouldn't up it for 3 days a week for the SJC.
But judge promos is something I'm a fan of. Flesh and Blood does it too, and I don't know how it is for Magic, but Flesh and Blood, they have it's obviously not like a full booster pack. It's like maybe like 3 or 4 cards, but it's like of really playable or like sought after cards, and then they also have unique rarities for those cards, or foiling, like cards that normally wouldn't be foiled can come foiled in the judge packs only.
Yeah, so for Magic the Gathering, from what I remembered when I used to play, is like they'll take like certain cards are pretty meta, like they're pretty popular during this time that was being played, such as like they'll pick like Exalted Angel or Damnation, right? Like cards that were like actually played and they were very strong, and they create like this alternative art, and then it'll actually have like a judge like sign, like sort of like a label there, so that this is you only can get this being a official judge, and generally
that's kind of cool, like a stamp or something.
Yeah, and they worth like decent value too. Like compared to a regular foil, like sometimes like these judge foils, if they're like very nice artwork, can be like almost like $50-$60 compared to the original, like more. Probably more now. I don't know what the market is, but it's pretty cool.
Jeff is sitting there like, I'm gonna buy all these judge packs I can.
Do like a $ animation just going around.
Yeah.
It's like you just see it, my face just going.
Trying to get my judging license for Lacana.
I'll tell you what, I tried to take like the highest level Yu-Gi-Oh judge test and I failed it like 3 times. It was it was a 2-question test, and it was just tell me the attack of this like creature, and it would just have 10 cards on it. Like in different phases and stuff.
Yeah, a million modifiers and stuff, right? Yeah. And it's like, what happens at the end of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lorcana's
simpler.
It's simpler. I don't think it can ever get that bad, but it can definitely it can get more complicated than what it is currently.
Yeah, and some of the rules just break my brain. Like the be prepared on Lyle, and Lyle removing the lore. That one I've had it explained to me so many times, and I was like, okay, I understand that's how it is, but I cannot grasp the fundamentals of why it works like that.
He waves goodbye as everybody is banished along with him.
Yeah,
easy. It's
he pushes them first, and he's like, you guys go first.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably one of the things that be judging for Lorcana, because when it comes to the basic of TCG, I guess normally you wouldn't lose lore off of the Rourke, right?
Yeah,
the Lion.
Right.
But
because it's all simultaneous, so it doesn't actually happen. Yeah.
But they somehow create these rules around it, on stack, which is very weird.
Yeah, the thing about Lorcana is it's actually a lot deeper than the rulebook says and than people think, because as much as people say there aren't phases or anything, for Yu-Gi-Oh terms, there actually is a damage step. There actually is a battle phase.
Oh yeah.
There is those individual things. Especially when it comes to rulings, if you're searching for certain rules, you'll see it mentioned all the time, even though it's not in the rule book or anything. It takes a while to get used to. If this card says when it attacks, or this card says while in a challenge, things like that are all different phases.
Yeah, I think we all got acquainted to the rules in set 1 with the giant Tinkerbell damage.
But yeah, what else we got?
That's everything I had on the list, other than maybe we can talk about some decks we're excited about for the release next week.
Yeah. I mean, I've been enjoying Green Steel. There's a few different ways to build
full
it now.
pirates or
so I want to try the pirates. I haven't gotten around to it yet. Currently, I'm just playing like something like sort of like standard discard. I really like Gizmo Duck. What else did I add? I think. Oh, Pete. I think we talked about Pete last time. Pete's kind of crazy.
He's gonna be a staple probably in the new format. He's what can kill a turn 3 Pete into a turn 4 shift Pete? Do something like
Sapphire, Coil, and Medusa. And
sure, right.
These Red Blue players ruining everything.
To be honest, like, it's very interesting. Like, I think Set 7 provides a lot of like fun casual plays in terms of like deck concept and designs, but I just have a feeling, just based on how powerful Sapphire like has become, unfortunately in the competitive side of play, I feel like it's gonna be very stale. Like, you're gonna have your red blue steel. Okay, what can beat those decks or somewhat compete? I think Amber Steel is dead. I don't think green purple can compete, unfortunately, in this meta. And so you're left with only green steel, I think, is strong, can fight. Purple steel and maybe red purple. Maybe. Right? But red purple will have to somehow go back and look at his older roots, because you got no new cards to play with, and see what you can use to somewhat combat the rise of Sapphire decks.
Oh, you don't believe in Lady and the Tramp? That aggro deck?
Not when they can Sisu on 3, Coil, Ramp, and Big Sisu and kill everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Like, it's just too much, right?
Yeah, it does have a lot of weak strength, and then prime to Sisu.
Exactly. Like, I don't know how to fix this or how Ravensburg is gonna fix this. Maybe get rid of Sisu, right? And Red Blue still be strong, but just don't have Sisu, right? Yeah. Or maybe we just need somehow like a rotation to reset the meta, not having these powerful cards, and then we're forced to play mediocre cards and really use our ingenuity to create something different with what's given.
Yeah, we just talked about that just before you joined. It's like possible rotation. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It is interesting though.
The other thing is, like, technically this set's not out yet, so maybe we're in for a surprise, and somehow, red blue is not, as dominant. But yeah, like, early impressions is like, yeah.
I think for set 4 we also thought like red blue was going to be like tier 0 in the first couple of weeks of testing with like Sailor on Ice, and I remember that Artabax video of him playing Ice Block and his opponent just conceding on Pixelborn. So maybe it's just not going to be as good, but I don't know. With the early testing on Coil, it does seem like it's going to be that good.
Yeah. When someone goes Coil on 2 instead of ramping, you're in trouble. Like, every character you're going to play, he's going to ink and remove it with Sisu, human Sisu, or Brawl. And then he gets big Sisu and you cry. Yeah. I just don't see anything that can stop that.
I was watching a game Sailor play, and he had a Coil out, played a Fishbone, and used that ink from the new Fishbone to lower something, regular ink to lower another thing, and used his other Fishbone to lower another thing, and then big Sisu'd and took out 3 people that had 3 attack at the start of the turn. And it's like, playing a Fishbone as a kill spell is crazy.
Yeah. To me, there's just so many fundamentally wrong about that. A control deck is just beating all aggros, mid-range. Like sure, it can break and lose, but the fact that like your win percentage into such an open field is like, it's just insane.
Yeah, I think that's been my biggest complaint about the red blue deck, is that when I do win, and it could be the opponents I play against, but when I do win, they go, oh man, my hand was bricked, or I never saw Hiram, or I never got any of my kill spells, or my 2B prepares were bottom 2. Like, it never feels like I'm rewarded as a player for beating them. It's more like they stumbled and I just got to 20 before they could stop me.
And then the same thing if I would play green steel, it's like, well, it's only because you shipped Diablo, I didn't have a Brawl. I'm like, bro, you play 4 brawls, right? You tell me you're gonna draw it every single game, and that one time I shift Diablo, like, you're gonna go off on me? Come on, man.
I guess I guess Ray, what deck are you excited to play? Aside from like the red blue stuff, what deck are you most excited to see if it works or to try out?
Well, right now I am heavily testing into green steel, and I do think green steel is one of the top decks that can contest the Sapphire decks. And then I'm having a lot of fun doing a lot of fun shenanigans with the queen with red purple, because I think LeFou is very strong going to set 7, just because you can. The problem with red purple has is your early game is very weak, and to deal with early board is also not that strong. So LeFou kind of fills in that gap where you can double challenge with your Sisu, which what helps slow down a lot of aggro decks. But when you go 1-for-1, you end up getting outvalue. But the fact that now you can 2-for-1 with that one character and still have a character that you can bounce next turn and somehow repeat that same process with the LeFou, I think gives red purple a bit of legs for this coming set. I guess everyone is wondering, is Queen is actually a good card? I do think the Queen is a threat that needs to be answered, potentially threatening multiple lores if you play with LeFou. And yes, there's a downside against red-blue. If they get their Tamatoa out first, then she loses value. But if you do get it out first, then you put Popsicle in the bottom library, which does helps the game a lot better. And even if it does put Popsicle there, if they have few characters or cards there, even if they're on a shark build, you put a couple of actions at the bottom of their deck, you're not so scared about that Maui shark anymore. So I think there is points where she could fit in the meta.
And the LeFou helps against shark too by readying your character.
Yes, not leaving things exerted. It's actually very big.
And I think the Queen could see maybe not the same trajectory, but a similar trajectory as Tragic Hero Beast.
Yes.
Right, that was always a card that came down and it's like, okay, I have to answer this soon, or they're just going to draw away. The upside is that you could just ping it for 1 and turn it off right away.
Yes.
If you ping the Queen for 1, it's not going to stop her from doing her thing.
Yeah.
She is more fragile, though.
Is it a
3/3?
It's a 4/3.
4/3.
A 4/3. Okay.
Yes. So she does need to get coiled.
but she doesn't naturally die to Medusa.
Yes, she doesn't. Yeah. I think for purple, I think blue steel is very fun. I think Harlan's Kiwi build, we've been working on it together. And then I think we're trying to create the idea of what the bell is. Trying to make it play like Amber Steel. So you have a 3/3, which is pretty busted on turn 1, but it can sing songs now, take out characters, and you try to play 2 clusters on turn 2, curve into Alice, Protective of Pluto, and just keeping your opponent off board, like that kind of play style. I think that's pretty fun too. Not sure how it's going to fare into red-blue. I think so far throughout our testing, it's been about 45% win rate, which isn't terrible considering that. And this is against a red-blue that's teched heavily against lower to ground. They're all Medusas and everything. So I'm not sure how it would fare into Sailor's kind of list. So it'll be interesting to play that out as well. But fortunately, the other decks that I'm excited just dies to red-blue. So if it's competitive, then I won't mention it.
Yeah, people are really excited about Mushu and Ruby Steel challenge deck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. I know that one player, and I'm forgetting his name, top 8'd at, was it the Florida event?
Oh, with the South Side. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on your team, buddy.
I know he's on my team. I know.
You're the worst. You forgot your teammate.
All right, J-Bomb, what's his name?
Malketh.
Yeah, well, that's his handle. Yeah, isn't it Jonathan Sweet?
Sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
He was testing you. Good job. You passed. Good job, Jeff.
Well, I had it too. I was just stalling to get the brain to find it. What was it? Was it Fan the Flames, or it's One Last Hope and Fan the Flames? Yeah. So I mean, that's one way around it. But again, his pop off was against an Amber Steel deck, right? I mean, that's
for sure.
What are you supposed to do against a workshop item deck when there's maybe no characters on the board?
You die.
Yeah.
I expect you to die.
You play the new Fazu, and then you expect to do like double challenge.
Yeah.
The opponent plays a coil. You're like, no. I think the puppies are interesting though.
Yeah, puppies are. They got a lot of support. Is it enough? Who knows?
I think they need 1-drops. I think that's what it
No,
means.
I think what it needed was the item that gives them +1 toughness should also be +1 power. If
it should just be a cove item. It's just.
So if that was a code item for puppies, I think puppies would have been playable this set. But because it was just toughness, it's just nice to see Sisu.
That'd be way too strong to just have an item give puppies +1/+1.
Then you can
puppies are so bad, so you need it.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if there's like 2 or 3 of those on board? Then it's like, oh no.
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, all your like 2 3s are 4 5s.
But that would actually make puppies playable though.
Yeah.
Probably.
They still probably lose to red blue.
Yeah, but still, it'll still be. It won't like default lose to other decks as well. But the fact that it's a cute concept, but it's just, I don't see it being any of the top 4 decks at the moment.
And I was really hoping we would get a 1-drop broom at some point. I'm slowly buying Yensa Enchanteds, hoping another 1-cost broom comes out.
Yeah, there's a lot of like support for like older archetypes that they've been like somewhat teasing, like brooms for example.
Brooms.
Yeah, like they just didn't end up going anywhere. So
Or Robin Hood.
Yeah.
We need more
Robin Hood,
more busted actions.
Like this set, racers, right? But we don't have like that many good racers.
Yeah.
Which also made me upset. Like they're pushing an archetype where there's nothing for it.
Yeah.
It's like you have to plan way ahead to have something to inch into it. But they suddenly just throw you a new set with new things, but you can't do anything with it.
I think this game's missing like a good tribal deck.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun. Like, I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't have very many tribal decks, but when they would like have it, the whole set would just like make it playable like on that set release. And I think that's kind of what they need to be doing to get tribal decks to work.
Would you call the Merlin Mim package tribal?
I think that is considered.
Or is that enough?
Are you talking like just like rabbit and crab?
I mean, like snake, fox, crab, rabbit.
The bounce stuff.
They're all from the Swords and Stone.
I don't think they have any like tribal powers together. They just are good cards.
Yeah, they're just good. They're just busted cards. That's fair.
Like they don't do anything like to synergize with each other. I mean, like they have some synergies. But
I think the closest we've gotten to competitive tribal has been Diggy Diggy with Knights and Mines. That's just what 12 cards.
Green Steel Pirates is getting close.
Okay,
it's getting there.
There's that.
Pirates in general are probably
there.
Or I guess heroes like overall if we're if we're going by all of them, heroes is probably the closest.
Well, Blue Steel Curve, the Kiwi deck last set,
like a hero deck.
That was a hero deck basically. It didn't really have. I know it had hero payoffs at some points in the iterations that Justin and Harlan were doing, but it wasn't like. Yes, my Anna's now gonna make all my guys quest for double now. Like they didn't run those kind of things.
You know what this set 7 needed to really fix all the Sapphire problem? Was a Merlin that destroys item. Because then
green, be a good spot.
Yeah, because then green purple will still be alive. I think purple steel will all have easier time dealing with the lucky dimes. It will just be more deck diversity if we just had one Merlin that killed items. But then all your Sapphire player would cry. So, I don't know.
You can play Clarabelle 1-drop on 3 and kill a coil. Does that save green purple though?
No, it doesn't. I think a bounce Merlin would have done a lot better. Like a Benja level at least. 3 costs.
Yeah.
Make it a 2/3 bounce. Come back. I think that's pretty fair. Okay, even make it 1 quest for 1. I will still take that.
I think the last time workshops were pretty heavy in the meta. I think this was still when like Pixelborn existed, and I remember some guy. It might have been like the last TIA event. He ran a purple steel where his like the whole idea was just to bounce Benjas, and he made a pretty deep run. Maybe we'll see that again.
I wouldn't be surprised if like a big chunk of the meta share is mostly Sapphire, because they're already anticipating that, you know, how strong Tamatoa and such a strong utility Scrooge is. The fact that you can play a 4/4 for free and you can start challenging location right away, which is what they normally struggle with. It's like they're getting most of their weakness covered. So what is their weakness at this point, right? So you gotta exploit whatever you can to get the victory. Right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we go back to playing heavy Benja to try to slow them down from executing their game plan.
And Benja is also good because of the 2 lore he gets it just adds up. While he may not stop a whole game plan by breaking one item, he slows it down so they can't just free play a Hiram and get a second quest. They'll probably still draw 2, but they probably don't have that second item out there, and that's enough card draw to stay in the game and be keeping pace with your lore gains.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the issue against Purple Steel, which was the worst matchup for Red Blue in set 3.
I'm about to go back to my Amber Emerald control discard list from set 4.
I
just
personally
get wards,
yeah.
Go Kita under the sea, heavy discards, just never let them play anything. I mean, that was really hard for Blue Steel to handle, and it had a okay Red-Blue matchup.
Yeah. I think Bare Necessity is probably at its all-time high right now. The fact that items are so popular, everyone's up on song counts as well, right? If you're playing DKP Sharkbill, you know, the fact that you can even rip, it can take location as well, right? Can it?
Yep. Anything that's not a character.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think Bare Necessity is probably at its all-time high, given where the meta is currently going. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a resurgence of green-yellow. Not sure if they got any big support for the last couple of sets.
We were playing around with Ukulele from the last set, because then you could add in Ursula 3 to double sing Bruno.
Ooh, that's spicy.
It was something. It maybe not the greatest because it's just more pieces, and the thing with control decks is you want consistency.
Yes, yeah, it is hard to be consistent when you're just relying on Diablo shift too to really get your engine going. Well, it's either Diablo or Prince John, I guess. Yeah, one or the other. Yeah. Or
land muses and start aerial bouncing. With stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you, Jeff? Looking forward to any decks?
Red Blue mostly. I've pretty much only played blue decks in set 2. I played just the greediest control list every set I could. Set 1 I played Ruby Amethyst, deck out deck. Set 2 Red Blue, Grand Pabby. Set 3 Red Blue. Set 4 I played Blue Steel, so I'm excited to try Blue Steel again. But the only reason I played Blue Steel there was so much aggro, so much more aggro that was playable in set 4. And Blue Steel was a really, really, really high win rate versus Green Steel, and Green Steel was very popular. Yep. And so I think Blue Steel is going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be better than Red Blue, but I'm going to try both of them, and I'm pretty excited about the Red Tool actually, because I do not like Vitalisphere, and I barely use it. I'm mostly popping it with Flaversham anyway, so I think maybe if I include bells. And then use that tool instead of Vitalisphere, I can get some good value with free coil, cheaper workshop, cheaper quill, etc.
I can see that. How much is it discount? Is it 2?
2.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna break items anyway.
One. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that'd be interesting.
J-Bomb, I have a question. Have you tested any of the set 7 Red Blue yet?
I personally have not tested it. I've watched a few games in the Discord, or in different Discords from,
Okay. Since you probably play Red Blue the most out of all 3 of us, I have a quick question, because there's a deck I'm messing around with. How disruptive if I get a turn 2 or 3 whole new world?
I hate it. I've hated it since set 2. It's the most annoying thing because especially if it hurts way more when I'm on the draw and you're on the play, because if we're moving back to Fishbone as well, if you whole new
Fishbone
world,
workshop turn 3, so you world them away. Yep.
Yeah, if you whole new world that before turn 3, because turn 3 has typically been in these type of formats, like the Fishbone Quill, and just getting rid of that, you're getting rid of most of their mulligan hand.
Yeah.
And red blue not mulliganed is just 7 random cards, and that's how I would mostly lose to Amber Steels in older sets, was the early wheel, and then they just keep wheeling, and I'm doing stuff, but they just are doing a lot of stuff.
They're in their own world, basically doing their thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this out there. What do you think of one drop Mulan shipped into the 4-cost Mulan and try to high roll a whole new world off the top against red blue?
I was thinking that old Mulan could see some play with how many look at top card or figure out top cards there are.
But are there any of those in that color pairing?
Not really is the problem.
Yeah.
But imagine you can do fun stuff imagine you're up against green purple. You hit a mob song off Mulan off the top. How tilted do you think they will be? You only play one of it, and you hit that one of mob song off the top.
I mean, yeah.
GG.
And I guess you still have the one drop Mulans to filter those cards out when you can't play them. That's gross. I don't like this.
I will say the mob
you'll
song.
Play Shift Queen again. Shift Queen with it.
The mob song in Sealed was the meanest thing ever, because you just play a guy, don't quest, play a guy, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "I'm mob
And then
song."
you kill their board.
Bye-bye. Now I quest.
You just win. Okay, maybe Amber Steel can come back in the form of Hybrid and just tries to hit turn 2 whole new world to
just
anger
shift
the Sapphire players.
Just shift
Or
Captain
Shift
Hook.
Queen. Yeah, or Queen. Shift Queen on 2.
Yeah, shift Queen, yeah.
Yeah. Probably, I would run Queen and the Mulan. I want to increase all my chances to hit whole new world on turn 2 on all the Sapphire players. And have them say, you only won because you got whole new world on turn 2.
Historically, another list that was good into red blue and blue steel was red Fossa. I don't know if that's going to be true or not anymore, but something to think about.
See, people said that. I always had a very good win rate against Mufasa and red blue, but I also played a lot more Let It Goes than most people.
That would hurt.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe not Let It Go, then I think Pandemonium would differ.
And red blue, it wasn't like a free one. It was like, this was still back when was the Pongo you get to pay 2 to
Set 3.
Was that set 3?
Set 3.
So it was like, okay, you had to see your Pongos, you had to see the Gothel Rapunzel combos, you had to see all your draw, and you had to outlast the red blue players.
I did lose one game to Mufasa at Atlanta DLC because he had 2 exerted Mufasas and they flipped a Tremaine and a Maleficent Dragon, and I was like, oh.
That was what happened. Similar thing happened to me the first time I ever saw a Mufasa deck back in set 2. I didn't know. I wasn't really as plugged in, so I was at a 1K. We're in top 4. I'm like, all right, I'll kill this character, and then a big dragon comes out and ruins my day. I'm like, oh, I guess that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah, it's always like, it feels so good when they miss them. It's the most emotion driving card. That's also actually, speaking of cards from the new set that about testing and stuff, I'm very worried about testing Scrooge, because I got irrationally angry when I'd miss with Ariel or I'd miss with the Blue Queen and went for the digging for the items. And so if I'm missing with Scrooge, I'm not a happy man.
Well,
I don't think it's a
play
bad
4/4.
Yeah, and you probably played it for free. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Queen felt really bad because also you didn't quest.
Yes.
And
Right.
Yeah.
you're turning her,
and then she just dies. She got you nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you draw a Fang crossbow next turn, then you use her again, and she misses again, and you're like, oh, just throw this deck in the fire.
Yeah.
Me as a green steel, I'm like, excellent.
Yeah, I think my starting point for set 7 is I'm going to take an Amethyst burn deck. I haven't figured out what color I'm pairing it with yet, but I'm just going to say kind of like a I don't know if the right term is like red deck wins in Magic, where it was just lightning bolts and Magmax or whatever they were.
Yes.
You're just trying to kill your opponent before they can do anything.
Yeah, we count
that. That's what I think I'm going to start with. See
I
if
think
I can
that deck
get there.
has a lot of legs, like, and especially if you don't fight against a Pirate's Life version, you're gonna
And I don't expect to see a lot of Half Shark Pirate's Life off the bat. They'll probably come back in once people have played with. Okay, I hate Workshop. It clogs my hand and blah blah blah. They're ready to do something else now. But
yeah,
what do you think of? Go ahead.
And I was like not a fan of the Pirate's Life at all. Like in a control deck, just playing a card that gives you no card advantage when like the whole deck is about like card advantage and just running your opponent out of gas. But then I played it and I was like, oh man, if I just have like 2 lore most games, like I can get there. It's not like I'm gonna get 20 lore. It's like just preventing them from getting that last little one exert push. And so I was surprised at how much I was liking that card.
What do you guys think of yellow purple burn? Because like you have the earlier aggression of the characters, and now with like Meet My Family, it's like another burn that could draw you another burn. Like,
that's one of the options I have. Yeah, I think it's like Steel, Amber, and Emerald are the 3 I'm looking at the most.
And someone's ears must have been burning to join us to talk about aggro.
What's up, Luke?
Hey, I come in and I hear Pirate's Life, and I was like, I hate playing against that card.
Don't we all? And here we have someone that plays red-blue.
We were just saying, like, what decks are we most excited to try in the next set? Obviously, barring, red-blue possibly being all over. Well, what are you looking forward to the most to see if it works?
I mean, I've been kind of digging the Emerald Amber thing. I'm just all about like new archetypes, right? And a new aggro archetype there could be good, like maybe Ruby Steel, although I haven't really brewed with that too much. After today's set review, I really want to brew some Madrigal Amber Amethyst.
I want to see if there's something there. It feels like I'm gonna play games and I just sing a whole bunch and then look over and go, oh, you have lethal.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it'll be good.
What are the highlights from your set review?
I think we only really went through Amber. And
Amber like part of Amethyst.
Yeah, so Lady. We were just
Lady was really good.
Lady's good.
Tramp seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
There was chat did bring up Bippity Boppity Boo, or I wanted to say Bippity Boppity Boop, but I was informed that was wrong. But yeah, like putting in Surfer would be pretty cool. I know there had been some people already playing that internally. I heard good things. I haven't played it yet. I wanted to. It looks super fun. Like, I'm all about Surfer Stitch, so.
I love Surfer Stitch.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be a new set without you testing a lantern, right?
Exactly. And Naveen gives me an excuse, right? Because it's like it's the baby it's the shift line for Prince Naveen in my eyes.
So I don't know if this is gonna resonate with you guys, but I play a lot of my locals, and kind of towards the end of the scene, towards the end of the set champs, everyone kind of like shook hands that we weren't gonna play red blue anymore. And if we get to that again at some point, I'm 1,000% playing the Minnie Mouse Pride Lands OTK deck. That's what I'm gonna play.
There were multiple people trying to play Shurkan decks by the end of our set champs.
You just don't exert, and then they can't get lords.
Yeah, but they can make you exert.
You gotta play a one last hope.
I know Sean was trying to use like the Scar he won from the first one in anything he could to win another Scar with it. So he built like a version of red blue with Scar, and not the one that's good.
That's like those Marvel Snap like daily quests where you got to put some card in your deck away, and you just like hope I don't draw it this game. It's in there for the quest.
My local store used to have this event called Creature Feature, and in Magic, and so you had to play like 2/3, like 40 creatures or characters all of the same type. So think you had to build a deck with 40 heroes in it, right? and I basically had a shell of like 20 really, really good cards. And then they should be good enough to carry the 40 bad characters that I would just like swap out each week. It's kind of like that.
They should make it like a quest. It's like you have to play this character and win an actual game with him, and then you get extra packs for your end of the league.
Actually, do you play in locals, Ray?
I do play in locals. Yes.
Don't they have the challenge things at your locals where it's like if you get
It's
for
the stickers.
Well, so
it's for the stickers.
Those are like if you don't have a system, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like different stores can do different things. I've played at least 5 different local stores, and they all do different things.
Yeah, everyone's different. And then some of them just get them all out on the pre-release. So I want pre-release. I got all the pins and everything all at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
My store does. It puts up that big board, and it uses all of the things that they're like. You get a point for wearing Disney.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get a point for accomplishing this like thing, but you can only achieve like 1 point each round.
Yep.
And there are people who bring 3 different decks, and they'll like as soon as they get the achievement of like 4 dwarves in play and Snow White like dancing or something like that. Or I'm assuming there's going to be one like use Prince Charming to activate slippers to get a Cinderella like or something like that. You know like and. So at the end, whoever has the most stickers gets first pick at like whatever they want. So they get like a pin and a couple promos for getting first. And it's always the people who like our locals has like the grinders, it has the super social, and then it has the sticker grinders, which is like a mix of the both. Where like they normally get in the top 3 to 5 players of stickers at the end. And you'll have a few competitive grinders who also kind of dabble in the stickers. Like they'll wear Disney every time and some simple things. But the ones who are like achieving the goals that RB gives us, they're definitely getting each pin every season.
Yeah. I was excited. I went to one set champ, and they apparently had not ever given out pins or promos before, because they handed like a little packet with this many promos to everybody, and everybody got 3 pins, a deck box, and that many promos.
I mean that was happening at my LGS. So, the LGS I'm currently attending. When set champs started popping around, I went to like a whole bunch of different ones, as we all did, to get stitches. And this one store I went to, they didn't really have a crowd prior to this, so they had like raffle tickets at your table. You went up and you just got like, they gave you like a whole bunch of promos, and you got like just a pin, and it was just like, here's just stuff. It's pretty nice to just get stuff for being there.
Did that make you go back to that store at all?
That is my LGS now, yeah.
Oh.
So quick questions. What do you guys do with your pins?
I'm going to get a cork board, and it's going to go up on the wall, and I'm going to put them all on it. I just haven't done it yet.
Because like...
Mine are just sitting here.
This is sort of where I'm at with all my pins.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good. Luke, is that a shirt or like a bag?
This is
that's your bag. Okay, your sling.
This is my DLC bag.
I like
got all of this ones. I was like, oh, I achieved it. I don't need to get any more pins. And then they show these like super cool symbol pins that are for the next season.
Ooh, sword.
This is the only one I have sitting on my desk. Whatever that one.
You should burn
Let me turn my green screen off for a second.
I thought it was a foil Tommy, but
yeah, mine's just all thrown in a box because I don't know what to do with it.
Mine too.
Just in a big box.
Yeah, just like this.
I sold all my extra pins, and then I don't
like
know.
the
This
way
is like
the logos line up along the bag there.
Oh, I am so excited that it's not logos anymore, and that it's ink symbols.
That's sweet.
Yes, I like that.
That's so cool.
Yes.
I'm actually upset. Only because it means I have to collect more pins. Like, I was done with the pin game. I'm like, all right, no more. Actually, that's not
more
true.
to fill my box.
And then it was also interesting that the other pins, they're doing the dual inks, and they have both ink symbols on the top of them.
I found this pin. I don't remember where, but it says friends on the bottom, and it's Chip. And I found out there's a other half of this that says best, and it has Dale.
You're just gonna find somebody someday.
You're gonna find some guy.
It's like, are you my best friend?
Yeah.
And then he's gonna turn, and I'm gonna steal his pin and run away, and then I'll have both pins, and we'll be like, I'll be good to go.
Are we best friends? Psych.
Yeah. Do we have the OP kit easily grabbable, Josh?
Let me see if it's here somewhere.
Yeah. What is the promo? Is it just the hero only, the non-foil, or are we getting actual other character or other cards?
So the promo for the like I have the pins here. Let me quickly share it here. Share.
So J-Bomb,
Bam.
if
Ooh, I
what
like
you
the,
want to do
the bolt.
is
the
you want
bell.
to open OBS, you
Oh,
put your
I see what you're
camera
saying.
there.
Yeah.
You go virtual camera, and then you put a filter on for your green screen, and
Yeah.
that's what that green screen is for.
As soon as you joined, I was like, "How is he doing this?" And then I talked through my head in myself, and got there. Yeah, but I will do that next time.
Oh,
Thank
these
you.
looks nice. I
Yeah,
like
'cause
the
these are cool. These are they're also both enchanted cards,
Yeah.
so that's kind of neat.
the
Or
amber
actually, all of
symbol
them are.
really is nice. The amber symbol.
See,
The amber symbol looks dope.
And Boone
It's
says
so
Amber doesn't
cool.
get anything, and they got a nice Amber pin.
Yeah. I was gonna
You
say
know-
the biggest downside of having the symbols as a pin is like now you gotta like if you want your symbol, maybe you gotta wait 6 sets
Oh man.
until it comes.
Oh, I'm just collecting them all.
But don't you don't want to give away like to your opponents what you're playing, right? Like you're wearing like me wearing green steel symbols, and then I go to a tournament and people see it, they'll just assume you're playing green steel.
Well, what I'm gonna start doing is because someone I don't remember who told me about this, but they were saying it might have been Ed was saying, oh yeah, when I sit down, I put my like opponent's handle. Like I just
I told
search
you
for it on Twitter. Oh, okay. I'm sure. I think a bunch of people said it. You know, go look for my opponent's handle on Twitter and see if they post their deck list. I'm just gonna start posting like
It works.
something stupid, and then
Yeah,
that's not what I'm playing.
I find 2 to 3 deck lists per DLC doing that, and it makes my mulligan choices on game 1 way nicer.
Now, would you feel like you had to do that if we were playing best of 3 though?
I'd still want to know.
Still
I mean
value.
that's fair, but I feel like
It's
that
still
doesn't. It's
value.
not as crucial.
Eh.
Like if you lose a die roll or something, maybe, but
I don't know.
Still
Game 1
important.
is still the most important one, because if you win game 1, you're for sure gonna get another game on the play.
sure, that's fair.
But that's why I've always wanted to switch my melee name to like Hyper Aggro Guy and just show up with a yellow purple mat and just all the gear.
You gotta
And
get
then
one
you
of
play
those
Red Blue.
hats too with the little spinner on the top.
We go fast.
Yeah.
I posted a fake deck list. I think it was before Texas, where I just like put a bunch of fun cards and took a screenshot and was like, "Yeah, this is awesome." And I did it because I had seen people do it in Magic before, and it was funny. Someone got really mad at me when they found out that like I wasn't playing it. The deck was pretty obvious. I can't remember exactly. I think it might have had like airfoil and no actions or something.
Oh.
It had like a few things that like it just like did not work. But maybe I should start doing that before DLCs just to throw people off who Google it up. Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that.
I actually
look
went
at
on
that.
the other end where someone like pays a premium to like see all of our deck lists and such, and then I ended up playing him in round 2. So he just knew exact like card for card what I'm on.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, you made that $5, bro.
I did.
You made that $5.
Yeah. And here, these are the promos for the
Oh wow, those look nice.
Yeah. So the Kronk one, that's the
box topper.
box promo. The Snow White, I think, is associated with the Pack Rush,
Yeah.
and then I believe Li Shang and then Perdita are supposedly supposed to be like handed out just during
Normally,
week.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
You
Just like
should,
normal promos.
And so I noticed that these
I
are like
guess-
the DLC promo symbols. So this is going forward is just the
The promo
Yeah,
OP
the
symbol.
organized play promo.
yeah,
They
and
they have merged it all
Is-
together into one.
then the other
the
symbol we're used to is
foil-
like event ones and stuff, right?
No, I think that's gone now. The like arrow.
No, because we saw the
The-
arrow one on the other thing, right? Or am I wrong?
That video of a
I don't believe
foil, that's Can we show that? Are we allowed to show that?
We talked about it earlier. I didn't know how to pull it up on
Foil.
screen, but yeah, we talked about how it's like the Japanese foiling, right? It looks like.
Oh no, you can. Can't we see it?
Yeah,
I think it's in the
could
official
probably
app.
pull
Like
it up.
you can see it in the official app. You can see how the foiling looks different.
Also, for
Really?
the legendaries in set 5, they did that like texture feel, right? And then they got rid of that
Yes.
in set 6.
No, that was.
Or is it still there?
That's still there.
Oh,
Right?
okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll be
Baymax
bet
honest-
has the texture feel.
Yeah, because Simba has it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. 'Cause I bought three sharks, foil sharks, and so I have not touched a legendary this set.
Here, this is this is like the video.
Do
we
the foils
saw.
not have the texture?
Not that I was aware of.
No, they did.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I just have no sense of noticing that. Then oh, this is beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
Like,
Oh, and
honestly,
another thing.
it reminds me of the Chinese foils.
Yeah, that's what we said. It looked like the yeah, because I opened up a bunch of Japanese boxes, more in line with that.
Looks
Going
nice.
back to the OP foils promo kits, they changed the lore pips back to dark colors instead of like they had like white ones, and with the foiling you couldn't like see them. It was kind of bad.
Did
so
they
improved
change
that.
it back? It's kind of hard to tell in the picture, but yeah, it looks like
they changed it back.
but-
It looks like
okay.
it's dark again.
Maybe
Unless
they
I'm-
just foiled it, and the foiling alone makes it look
Oh,
dark.
maybe the foil pops it. That could be it.
But it does... What? Ooh, when you zoom in, it looks gray. When you're out, it looks black.
Yeah.
Which one you guys think would be the most popular one that people would pick?
Perdita.
Perdita.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume so.
I could see Li Shang, maybe.
I think
maybe?
Snow White's not bad. Snow
So
White.
what's the best
I mean-
league promo that they've done? Is it probably how far I'll go?
Does Bucky
Bucky.
count?
Bucky, yeah. Yeah. You're right.
It depends.
Other than
it-
that, probably,
So,
right?
Yeah,
Javon,
as
it
I'm sitting
depends on
here
what
with, like-
time, because Mickey was
Chicha after
also
that.
a promo. Detective Mickey.
Mickey, Chicha...
True.
So,
Bucky.
like,
probably
before How
Bucky,
Far I
then
Go
Mickey,
came out.
then Chicha.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
then
there's
How
Kit.
Far... Ooh. How
And
Far
Kit-
is
How
probably
Far
better
over
than
Chicha.
Chicha.
Kit also is.
Look at all these Buckies.
I mean, there could be an argument that Kit is actually the best one, because typically
should I
you
show
always
online,
play
please?
Kit in a
Look
green,
at all these promos. Look at all these promos.
but you don't always play How Far I'll Go.
Look at all of
They're
these.
Buckies.
I'm the only non-Bucky hoarder, I guess.
Let me
I'll
find my
Cindy's.
pile of 50 foil nutsies.
I have so many hidden Inkcasters,
Oh, me too.
and then so many of the Mickeys. I don't even know what this
How
location
far?
does.
How far I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh, I have lots of
Heimerdinger action.
Chicas. That's pretty cool.
What are those?
It's a
The
green
League of
magic
Legends?
card,
Oh.
so it looks really wacky in the green screen.
Yeah, I'm diamond
what the heck?
handing my
That looks so
Bucky
cool.
promos to get like a ton of money later.
Oh, is that the Arcane Heimer? Yeah.
Yeah, the foiling on these
That's
cards
cool.
look really nice.
Wait, you can get those cards? They're like available now?
It's the Chinese one.
He
still.
ordered it,
Oh,
right?
nice. That's cool.
I ordered too many of these sets. They just keep
Although,
going down in price.
Oh no!
wait, do you have an extra? I'll take one.
They're all at PSA, but PSA's not grading them, so they're just going to be stuck there until the game
Oh, really?
releases.
Yikes.
Oh, they like refuse to grade until the game releases, or
Until they get information from Riot, but Riot's not giving them the information until the game releases.
gotcha.
So
That makes
you
sense.
gotta be patient.
I mean,
think I have
end of the year they
anything
said,
else
right?
good.
Or
Yeah.
this year. They didn't say end, but this year.
The unfortunate thing is I have a bunch of Lorcana cards in that order, too.
Oh yeah, because you can
Honey lemon.
the come on
Oh,
focus the pips
yeah.
like they
Depending on the angle,
Oh
right?
yeah, you
yeah it's
barely
very hard to
see it.
see. Because I was like, oh sweet, I'm gonna play Honey Lemon in like one of Ray's Green Steel lists, and then I go and get the promo version, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, can you tell how many lore pips are on this? To my opponent, he's like, nah, I have no idea. I'm like, sorry, it's 2. Just believe me, please.
Yeah. Any other news to talk about? I guess something we didn't talk about that's, I guess, been known for a while was Melee's being replaced.
I'm okay with that because I hate Melee.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are okay with it. The other interesting
Brad
thing
Nelson.
about that is, like, if anyone remembers the old Lorcana Play Network system that was used for Pixelborn
The
tournaments and
packs.
stuff. Yep. Like the pack tournament was like the biggest one. They basically
Nishi Mondays
partnered. I don't want to say bought out. I don't think bought out, but like they partnered with them to create the new. I believe it's called Ravensburger
Play.
Is it also
wrote it down? Play
Is it
Hub.
Raven or
Play Hub.
Raven?
Play Hub? Yeah. So they basically repurposed it into that, and that's going to become like the new official tournament platform.
I'm excited because that was very smooth. It was very easy to look up
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
I like
It's great for
their
like
first
what I
name.
like to do, like scrape a lot of data and do spreadsheets and do pivot tables and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember doing a lot of
I
that for
just-
the pack events. You can't really do that in Melee, so
Mhm.
that's
Have
what
they
really-
mentioned anything about
really
online
hope.
client?
No.
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 Ah,
Dream on,
I
buddy.
just really, really hope they changed the way you upload your decks, because I just remember really disliking how to upload decks on it
Yeah.
for the
Do I
pack
have some
events.
news for you? It has not changed. I was part of a pilot program for this
Ooh,
a
and
month
you
or
failed
so
us.
a month or so ago, and it was basically like a bunch of different facets of like, okay, here's it from an organization standpoint for the TO, here's it for the players and stuff. So we did a draft. So we go into our draft. Then they wanted us to upload our draft deck just to, play around with the software. So first off, uploading a draft deck is already stupid because it's 40 unique cards, maybe 35 unique cards, and you got some duplicates. But we're on our phones and we're like scrolling through, and sometimes if you scrolled too aggressively, the page would reload and you would lose all your progress.
Oh no!
Sometimes it just wouldn't scroll, so you're like stuck, and then you have to go back to now you have to search for the card individually, and you can only see maybe depending on what kind of phone you had, 4 to 6 images per screen, and it was a nightmare. Nobody had fun putting the deck in.
probably spent more time putting a deck in than playing the actual games.
It was arguably longer than the draft was. Yeah, it was rough, but the system had my old avatar, and it had my name still saved in it, even though I had to
Your
sign
elo?
back up. So
That's cool.
that's all it had.
Am I still rank 1?
It did not have that. It was pretty much an encapsulated, we were just in our event. We couldn't really go around, poke around.
Mhm.
But it did have the, you go to a My Deck section, you make a deck, and then you tie that deck into the event. So, yeah, like you were saying, Luke, I did not love the deck creation system in that. I mean, there's a reason why I think all of us use Dreamborn, is because Dreamborn has been really smooth for deck creation.
Yeah, and I really hope they give you an option where if you submit the list and you made a mistake, you can unsubmit it, because I know that was always an issue for me and other TIA tournaments, because for some reason I couldn't click the right Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing. It's like once you submit, that's it. It's like final.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
it's not. It's not
hope they
like
change
it's
that.
not like a thing where you can change it up until the start time,
Right.
which is
So-
most people do that, right? Like you basically have until you start the
That's-
tournament.
That's awkward. I mean, for the ICL, I just have a form fill out, right? And it's just sometimes they put the wrong thing. They just submit another form. I just use the most recent one.
most recent one.
How hard
Yep.
is it to write some code to do that?
Right.
I don't code, so people are going to be like, "Oh, it's going to take a lot," but I coded enough to know that
No,
shouldn't
that shouldn't take a lot. Shouldn't take a lot.
Yeah. I
No
guess
variety.
I think they mentioned it too when they first announced it, but there is going to be some sort of redemption for something, right?
Yeah. I don't remember the details,
cards
but there's
with
something
their-
about
Yeah, because it used to have a points redemption for packs and sleeves and stuff.
Yeah.
So it sounded like that was carrying over still
Yeah.
in some form.
I think that's
It's
good.
so many points because I joined one tournament and didn't hit check in, so I was looking for my round 1 opponent. They're like, "Oh, you didn't actually click ready." I was like, "But I submitted my list and stuff." And then so me and technology there weren't good, but they gave me a bunch of points to
Recurring.
make up for it.
recurring team. Yeah.
It sounds like those pizza places that are like, here, take all these coupons for free pizzas, and they they close in the next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically what happened. But maybe those Lore Kind of Play Network stickers spike now because it's like actually moving to the kind of official system.
But I mean, I will say,
one.
like
I think I was supposed to, but I
finding
never
your
got
opponent, chatting with your opponent in the system, reporting games, that was all. I enjoyed that during the pack events. It still feels very much the same. So
Yeah, that was actually really fun, was like chatting with the people, because like I played against the Rat in the last round of one, and I was like, hey man, I was like a fan of yours in Hearthstone, and he goes, I was a fan of yours in Yu-Gi-Oh! We used to playtest together, and I was like, what? I didn't recognize the handle.
Yeah, the chat was great. It made things like so much smoother and immerse, right?
Yeah.
It did make me sad. Like sometimes I'd have like great conversations, then the next round would start and it's gone, and I'm like, who are you again?
yeah.
And I also really like seeing like the first and last name of everybody, because like it's like, oh, this really good player. I didn't know his handle was that, but like I see him doing good at all these events and stuff. So like on those TIA events and the pack events, you could actually seeing the first and last name and the handle. Like I could put a lot more people together.
Easier for you to Twitter search them.
Yeah, you get it.
So I don't know if you can say, but how did you like get into the pilot? Did they just ask you randomly or something?
Oh no, so I go to an LGS. So I live in New Hampshire. Ravensburger has a headquarters, like 20 minutes from my LGS, and my LGS has a store in the same town as their headquarters. So they just have a relationship.
Cool.
Just from like stopping by. Yeah, some like, I don't know how big wig he was, but some guy stopped by at some point during a league event last set, just gave us stuff. So that was cool. But yeah, so I guess it was like a whole bunch of LGSs across the nation did it on the same day. You know, they opened up like a 6-hour window or whatever. Here's the software, go do it. Yeah, it was fun.
A real closed beta, closed alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got to draft Inklands, that's a fun drafting time. So
that was a fun.
Was
draft.
it for free, or like they're just like, hey, you can draft? So that's cool.
They say you got to pay for it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if they were just it's your normal draft day.
That's what I was wondering too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
That's cool. Shout out to Ravensburger. Maybe you'll come to Toronto. Yep.
The home of beaver tails. Like, come on. I don't know if that's true, but
don't you want some
good.
poutine or something?
Oh no, I do not.
You don't want Canadian maple
why
syrup?
not?
He's not from the Midwest.
poutine
He doesn't like gravy as much as us.
I don't like gravy.
That's you pretty much nailed
okay.
it. That's pretty much what it is. I want my French fries crispy.
Oh, it can be
I agree.
How do you not like gravies? Like, did you eat your fried chicken with gravies?
Not really. All right. So, my family is very, very beige, and they're not very good at cooking.
Spicy mayo, like basically. That's what.
Well, mayo is
too
spicy, you know. Yeah, like pepper can be spicy, you know. Like, so I grew up with very bland food, so I was like, this is not good, right? So I like occasionally I'll try a gravy and I'm like, oh, this is super good. What is this? Oh, it's got real seasoning in it. It's like no wonder it tastes good. Like, so I never really acquired a taste for gravy, I guess.
Oh, Asian culture, we're all about flavors. You see a lot of cupboards, all this MSG just throw in there.
Yeah.
I discovered that in high school. My first job was actually cooking at a small mom and pop's Chinese restaurant, Shanghai in Seward, Nebraska.
That's where the good stuff are.
So I can cook some good sugar meats, basically Americanized fast food, Chinese food, you know, but so good.
Now I'm hungry.
My Indian food right now. It's like every time I go out, I just want Indian food. It's so good.
Yeah, every time you post something, I'm like, damn, that looks good. Yeah, I'm in like a butter chicken arc right now. So it's like...
Ooh, had that last night.
I'm in my Korean phase. I like the Korean spices.
Oh, yeah, I went to a Korean chicken place. And
Korean fried chicken?
Yeah, it had three fires next to the chicken, and I was like, all right, how hot is this? Like, I'm like, I can do some heat. He's like, I'll give you white guy heat. And I was like, yeah, perfect.
One of the nice things about DLCs, and this is a Magic story, but GPs and DLCs are like the same thing, kind of, right? Is you get to go try food out that you don't always get to try. So I got to try some Nashville spicy chicken. They had 5 flavors of heat. I chose the third one. And I knew I should have only chose the third one because there was a sign that said no refunds. And at that point, I was just like, oh, people order too spicy and throw a fit, and they're just like not having it. I like tried to make slight small talk with the lady running the window, and she was just like not having it. Like, I was like, okay, you're probably busy. Like, normally you just don't care. Like, I have one question about the food. You're like, shut up and order it. Get out of the way, you know. But damn, it was good chicken. Like, it's so good. Very spicy for a 3. Like, I would maybe do 4. I don't think I could do a 5.
Yeah, I forced my group in Atlanta like a half hour out of the way to go to this chicken place I wanted to try.
I can
Was
eat
it worth?
spice, so
It was worth it. Hattie B's.
That sounds
that's
familiar.
That's always like the best part, I think, of like DLCs. Like, obviously you're there to be competitive and play at the highest level, but honestly, hanging out with friends and seeing people and just like eating all these different things or seeing different things is actually like the best part.
And we go to the one bar that has other people in costumes, so I don't look ridiculous.
Are any of you guys going to
You were in a costume?
Oh, the Eeyore outfit to Seattle.
I was wearing an Eeyore outfit at that like Seattle like EDM ping pong bar.
It was so funny when we walked in. We're like, what's going on? Did we miss a memo?
There's like a tub full of ping pong balls by the entrance.
Yeah, right? What day was it? It was like, it wasn't Halloween weekend, right? But it was
No.
It was close to it.
It was close, yeah.
It was close.
It's like the 27th, so
yeah.
could be considered Halloween weekend for. Yeah.
It kind of just the bar gave me the vibes of the house parties I went to when I was like
Yeah,
22.
that's a great way to describe it.
It's like, all right, I guess they turned this experience into a bar.
Speaking of DLCs, any of you guys going to the DLCs in Asia?
I keep wanting to learn Japanese to go there, but I just can't hop on the horse to get that started.
I don't
It's
think.
okay. You don't need to. Just be like, quest.
Yes.
Quest.
You have a phone.
Yeah.
Just
You
point,
say
point,
something
point,
and
point.
it pops out. Like,
Yeah, to be
I
honest.
would.
Yeah.
I thought about it, and I was like, if I go, I would have like 5 or 6 cards that I would like write what something would be like. It'd be like, pass the turn, I'll target this. Like 5 or 6 of them that have it, and then I would like grab that card and then point at the
notes.
thing I'm doing. I know, but I would. I'm pretty sure that they would let translation notes work. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I would assume like most Japanese, somewhat
I was gonna
like
say,
speak
it's
and
probably
understand.
Not
Like,
that bad as you might think. Yeah.
Just the Jebus Grunton point.
most other cultures are.
Question.
It feels like they're more educated than us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The biggest thing though is like, we don't know if they're actually allowing foreigners.
That's true.
Because I've heard like different things that they might limit it to like Japanese only, or Asia only.
At least
and I
until
know-
it like sells out, and then maybe open it up.
And
I'm
I know for Japan.
Chinese. I can speak.
I mean,
Cantonese.
this might be a hot take, but I wish they had done that for all the DLCs. I wish that. I mean, DKP did go everywhere, and he eventually won. But like, and I know a lot of like EU players came to NA, and NA players came to EU, and that was cool. But like, I don't know, the invasion of Melbourne maybe wasn't the coolest in my opinion. But
especially because like they're not as far ahead as we are in terms of like knowledge and meta wise. So like they feel like you being so far into the game, it's almost like bullying going there. And then also you have someone real sharking made it worse.
I think it's okay, but I think they should do something like, I don't know how they do it, but like locals or residents get like priority access kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'd be okay with that. Like if they want to hit their numbers, if they want it to be a 2K event, and only like 1,500 sign up from New Zealand, Australia, and whatever surrounding places, then open it up. Second round. You want to book a flight and come out here? Sure, go for it.
Yeah, because I know for a lot of DLCs, like Toronto specifically, there were so many locals that didn't get a ticket that really
Yes.
wanted to go, and it feels so bad, right? Like, oh, the
Yep.
big events in your hometown, but you didn't click fast enough, or you're in an
I
hour,
actually
or
almost
you
didn't
weren't
get
there.
a ticket.
Well,
Uh,
like, so a counter argument to like the Melbourne thing. You also have to realize that like DKP is famous in our world, right? In our Lorcana world. So this could be the only time a lot of Melbourne players who might want to see him to get to see him, and
Sure.
other people like Kendall and the
Yeah, that's a
Shark.
good point.
Like, so these are people like they wouldn't get to see, and so they have these bigger things. Like, because I know there are people who come to our DLCs who were like, oh, I want to meet you and get your picture, like, so that it creates that kind of scenario as well.
But I think that there's enough of those type of people that's a small group that you could tailor that to support that, right? You could be like, okay,
The
here's
competitive players would not like that.
Sure.
I would not like that, and I have a chance of being one of those players. And
Yeah.
like, because
That's kind of like what
I-
hurt
in-
Hearthstone a lot.
Magic did something. They like they gave Amaz like a PT invite when there was like a 64-person PT.
I remember that.
Every time I bring that up, DeCandio's like, "Well, I might agree, but that helped me because Amaz picked him as a teammate. It was like a trios PT, so he got invited to the PT because of it."
Yeah.
But I mean, DeCandio's also amazing, so he didn't really need the help, but it was nice there for him. But a lot of people were upset about that. Like, if they were to give Earl and me and someone else, like, say I didn't win Seattle, and I stayed on the cusp the whole time,
Sure.
never broke through, and then they just gave me an invite to Nats based on my content creator, and they're like, "Oh, you tried. Here, you're a content creator. Here's a thing."
Oh,
like,
well, I think
so many
I think
people would be
Nats
mad
versus
about
the DLC might be different though. I think that maybe that's a line that I would draw, but like for like a DLC in like Melbourne or like say I don't know a DLC in like South America, like if they want to like handpick a few like top name content creators and send them,
that. Do we?
I feel like that's
I
good.
guess maybe we just need a percentage of like how they did and how many people were actually not from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, because there was at least 5+ world class. They like had quite a few people show up.
Yep.
Only one of them made day 2.
Yes, only one.
So like, now if the like,
One or two.
what's
I
the
can't remember.
percentage that made day 2 of non-Melbourne people? Like, sure, in the finals it was DKP and another, but like, if the other 30 or 64 were
Yeah, 'cause
all
it was
Melbourne, then it's not really,
Yeah,
that's
Ben
not a
and,
problem.
Ben and Jesse were locals, and they got top 8 and top 4.
Yeah,
Like,
off the top of my head,
four.
I want to say there was like
Lamb.
6 non Australian that topped.
I think that's
Six,
fine.
6 sounds about right.
At least a Canadian won Toronto, right?
And
Yeah.
on a fantastic list.
We defended home turf.
Josh,
Yeah.
I was so bummed that I couldn't go to Toronto because we just had our third kid then, and that was like, and I know that you guys had a lot of work with Diego, like seeing him develop it, but I was not really part of this group yet, and I was developing it like along with like Pandemonium Heart and some other players, and that was like my list. Not my list, I owned it, but like that was the list that I felt very comfortable on, and it, man,
I
to just
hated
have
that deck.
have Bucky getting removed and just slotting that in,
I
man.
just couldn't win with it. I would just like get in poop positions, and so like, granted, I probably played under 10 games with it before. I was just
Oh.
like, nope.
If you played
And
under
then
10
other
games, that's what it
people-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other people played it a bit and were like, oh, I don't like it. So I think the problem was no one gave it fully enough. We were aware it was good.
Yep.
I mean, like, Sailor knew that it was a deck, right? Like, he didn't really push us to test more than he was just like, hey, I think this has some legs. We tested it and we're like, I don't know how it has legs, but
My most favorite
Then we
part
shifted.
was running into Savish and seeing him rage on stream when I beat him. when I opened the Diablo bare necessities, he got so bad.
Yeah, that deck does some nasty stuff.
Very unfair things.
I mean, it was like, because I went to Chicago, did well with Bucky, and then I came home and I was like, man, Bare Necessity is better to protect my Diablo than all the steel stuff.
Yeah, and I think, like, I'm pretty sure it was that set, and I think that's kind of where it started getting popular, was I won a set championship with Green Yellow, and then Kendall posted, "Don't let this get big," or something, or like, "I hate this. I don't want to see it ever again." And like, I think that's where everything just kind of spiraled out.
Yeah. It was a set champs that it really started blowing up, because then I played your list.
Yeah, you played my list,
one, and I did well with it.
Yeah, and then everybody started doing well with it in like the following set champs.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Kendall came into some like 20 lore thread, and was like, "What is wrong with you people? Who hurt you or something?" Yeah. It was just because that list dumpstered on blue steel and red purple, like just crushed them.
And red blue, it was pretty much up to their top decks. They have a lot of good ones,
it went along with kind of how you built your list.
Mm-hmm.
But you could run them on the wrong time.
Yeah.
If they like top deck Sisu multiple times, then it's rough.
But if you have like Lucifer or Pete's at your top end, like that was better. I tended to run like Crickies at my top end.
Yeah.
Because those are just more versatile, but yeah, that was a fun time. I love that list.
I remember at a set champ, I was the first overall seed, and I was like done for the day. And I'm watching this one match, which is likely the winner going to be the eighth seed, and it's green yellow versus Mufasa. And I'm like, please, green yellow, do not win this. I do not want to be first seed playing green yellow on blue steel.
I actually have not won a single store champs for that season, because I was playing Bucky, and everyone was playing Bucky decks. Were teching to beat against each other, and they're just it was the dumbest thing ever. Literally,
that happened to me.
I go in there, I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to beat all these like red blue players and red purple, and then I run into all these Bucky decks with grab your swords. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Oh, at least so for my Bucky, the guys who were playing Bucky, they were playing like Avalanche. They're like, I kill your deal 1 damage, I kill your Cove and mess up your Bucky. Yeah. It's just like, oh my gosh.
The guys I was with, like, they're all playing like grab your swords, like Tinkerbells, all these random stuff just to beat Mirror, and then they just lose to red blue or blue steel. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? It makes no sense.
They play a Pegasus 1, and you're just like, you're really gonna shift Sing Swords, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I have to play into it. I can't not play Bucky on turn 2.
Yeah.
And they just have it every time. Nice Diablo.
Most tilting thing ever.
The worst is when you Diablo look at their hand, see they don't have it, and then you play out all your stuff, and then they top deck into it.
Yeah. That's how I feel about Amber Steel too. It's like,
I was about to say Amber Steel. I ripped a Raging Fire or something. Yeah.
You're just like, how? Yeah.
So I was playing Green Steel, like a more recent version, and I was playing against a Diggy Diggy Hole list. Turn to Ursula. I'm like, all right, you have one song, Raging Fire, gone. Now I can safely play my Ursula 3 next turn.
Yes.
And then Muse is on turn 4, Murder bounces board, and I'm going to be in control, and he top decks a Raging Fire, and I'm like, I guess I just lose this one.
That's some Lorcanito shuffle right there.
Yeah, it was a Lorcanito.
It's like your top 20 cards is all removable somehow.
Yeah.
You draw like all of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I might have been a shuffle truther for a while, and I understand that random is random, and most people don't experience true random when shuffling their decks. Most people just don't shuffle their decks well enough. They're not cheating, but like some clumps could happen. Like I literally knew people who, when they riffle shuffled, they were just bad at it. So their deck would be shuffling chunks of 3 and 4 cards each time. So cards would clump. While you riffle shuffle, you're supposed to like do it in a manner that it goes card, 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 card. And so they're just like constantly getting those chunks, and it's just like kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Like I will say it should be good habit to shuffle your opponent's deck. after they present it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I have not done that yet.
Yeah. Like usually I'm just too lazy. I just cut it. I'm like, you look like a good guy. It's like, I'll let it go.
You don't look like a degenerate. No, you're good.
And if you get lucky, then I'll just say you cheated. It's fine.
Do you guys, when you shuffle your opponent's deck, is it like just a mash?
Yeah, I just do a couple matches. I hate riffle shuffling.
I'm so afraid of dropping a card when I shuffle my opponent's deck that I've just cut, but I need to like get in the habit.
Yeah,
I would freak out on my opponent if they tried to riffle shuffle my deck.
I'll be terrified if like I'm shuffling someone's deck that's all enchanted like Dale's. Like imagine just like every card is a couple $100. You're just like shit, gotta be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I take so much care shuffling my opponent's deck than my own. It's like my own is like, and then my opponent's I'm like,
and you're not supposed to look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
First round of Atlanta, I knocked over my opponent's deck like as I went to cut it and saw he was on red blue, and I was like, I'll show you one off.
Cheater.
I was like, I'll show you one if you want, and he's like, no, that's fine. It's like, I'm sorry, man, but so I was like so nervous for my first like big event in like 15 years, and yeah.
Atlanta was
15 years.
Atlanta was nerve wracking.
Yeah, I think my Atlanta was like the DLC, and that was 2024, and then my last big event would have been like Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2008, unless you count like Hearthstone Nationals in 2012 or whatever. But
I would count that.
But that was online, so.
All right.
Yeah, IRL is like, it's such a jump.
Yeah. Wearing pants versus not wearing pants, there's a different level of different level of severity there.
Wait, you wear pants to DLC?
Hearthstone Nationals was like a Thursday at 7 p.m. and I wasn't in college, and there was a kegger like in my house downstairs while it was going on, and like people kept bursting in my room, and I was like, "Hold on, I'm fighting Miracle Rogue." Good times.
That was a good deck. I like that deck.
Speaking of Atlanta, that was like an interesting event. There was there were so many different
bathrooms there were.
Yes.
So I went into Atlanta. So I didn't. I know that there was hard to get tickets. I didn't attempt to go because I said I don't want to play in an old format. And then I went and watched you guys all play, and I go, man, this sucks not being there to experience this like last hurrah for this set.
Yeah, I do hate that it was like old formats. Like it's like even now, right? Like the new set's out. I don't want to touch the old stuff if I know what's coming, right? I just want to play with the new stuff. But then Atlanta is like, yeah, it's like a last hurrah kind of thing, which is neat. Atlanta itself, like being the first DLC, it had like so many hiccups.
Yep.
But like I like to look at Atlanta and then compare it to what it is now. It's like they've improved so much. Like my fingers don't get stabbed on staples at the tables. I can fit 2 mats on the tables. It's like it's nice.
That was awful. Like I got the end table the first 4 rounds, and so it was just people like coming and pushing me like nonstop, like me looking up and like, yeah. And then Wonder introduced me to Wochuk, and then I happened to play him the next round after he made the introduction.
Rigged.
Yeah, it was funny. Out of like the biggest room. So, because I mean, when I went to Chicago, I was pretty much still like pretty unknown. Lizard Kitty and her partner, and her partner Ben, I knew them because they were local at the time to me. And you know, it's round 5 or I think probably 6, and Ben and I get paired up, and it's just like, what are the odds of sitting across from the room at that point of someone like I like had previously had a conversation with, not like new, like it'd be one thing if I like sat down across from DeCanio and be like, oh, I know who you are, but it was pretty surreal to just
it's interesting to hear you guys talk about like, you know, traveling, playing DLCs, because like I don't travel to play DLCs, so like before like all of this Discord, like I only know you guys by your Pixelborn like handle. And then everyone will be like, oh, you're that guy that was on Pixelborn beating me every day. I'm like, yep, I don't have a life.
Ray, did you play at the Toronto one?
I played the Toronto one.
Okay.
Yeah. I think,
so if there's another Toronto one, will you try to do that one again?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hope to make the Chicago one next time, since the venue was 20 minutes from my house and I couldn't make it last time.
Yeah, did you just why couldn't you make it?
So they
Tickets,
announced they announced the date, and I was like so excited I heard Chicago, and then it was the first time me and my wife had like planned a vacation since we started dating was that weekend, and I'm like,
You already had the time off at least, bro.
Yeah. Doesn't she want a tour of Chicago's convention center? Like
right down the street from her house.
Actually, that convention center is literally like 3 blocks from her parents' house where she grew up.
Jeez.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Ray, if I know you don't want to travel much, but if there was one like closer, like what about Montreal? Would you go to that?
Yeah, I'll go to that.
Yeah.
What about
like what would
New
your
York
range
City?
be? Yeah.
I think a lot of it, like, what hinders
Do you
me
have a
from
passport?
traveling is just, like, I have a passport.
Yeah.
What hinders me is mostly, like, schedule. Because, like, I'm trying, like, doing different things, and also have work, responsibilities. I'm also coaching badminton, and then this is a lot going on at once, and things just don't line up. And
Yeah.
also
Shuttlecock
financial,
rules,
too. Yes, I'm very good with the cock. Especially if you give me a racket. Oh, yep. Same thing. Yep. I play with the bird.
Diablo?
Yes.
That too.
It's funny because, like, you guys probably know, well, shout outs, Jackie or some of those like legitimate business person. The one who played Bruno and beat Sailor in Toronto. Every time I play against him, he's like, how's it that you draw Diablo shift every single game against me? I don't think there's ever game I play against him I did not shift Diablo, and he gets so upset.
I mean, you tend to have it when you mull 7 cards, right? Like,
Yeah.
I hear the odds are pretty good.
Yep. And it's funny because when he'll play Green Steel, he'll never shift Diablo against me.
they're like, oh, I'll mull 3. And you're like, oh no, man, they have Diablo Shift and the Cove or like something. And they like, don't even play
already.
Diablo on turn 1. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's about it. I guess one other thing is like, when is the next set supposed to come out? I think they said it, right?
5:30.
What?
Wait.
Oh,
yeah.
I was looking at the time. I'm like, what?
Nope.
I'm like, today?
Like, I was so confused.
Sorry, I'll say May 30th.
Yeah.
5:30. I was looking at the time too.
it's like, what?
Yeah.
7
So
hours?
May
What's
30th?
going on?
So
that
this will
means
be
set
a.
chances. What, April?
So this
End
will
of
be
April-ish?
so this will be Arcasia's will be a 12-week set. They haven't announced set champs yet, but I believe it'll be mid-April. I have 419 bookmarked as my guess. So we'll see.
What do you guys hope to come out of Reign of Jafar?
It'd be nice to get a good blue card.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're struggling a lot.
I want to see if people are guessing correctly that Jafar is going to shift colors over to Ruby.
I would say if Sapphire gets stronger, I'm just gonna play Magic Commander.
I would like to see some strong Sapphire cards. Aggressive,
Yeah.
strong
Yes,
Sapphire cards.
that
I would
I'm
like
okay.
to see cards in colors to like shift into a new archetype. Like, granted, I'd also like to see some playable songs.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd like to
Yeah.
see a 1-cost
Because-
broom. That's my biggest ask. 1-cost broom.
I want
Yinsid, baby.
another action for my Robin Hood.
So Luke, we think there's going to be some song stuff because one of the starter decks for set 8 has people singing on it.
Maybe there'll be one song in the deck.
Yeah, that's
One song.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing I
It'll heal.
want to see the most is I hope there's more dual color cards and it's not just like a one-time gimmick thing.
Yes.
Oh, I want to
Because-
see if the illusion count will be more than 5.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think
That was very...
They
5
have
more
to.
or total?
No, it has to be, right? They go and show it as one of the first things, and then there's like 5 total illusion... not even illusion cards, just 5 cards that interact with illusions.
I really
I
like
would
the
be
design
upset.
illusions.
I'd be upset if there wasn't at least 4 illusions in every color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diablo
Like,
illusion.
If it's only an amethyst and amethyst dual link cards, I'll be a little upset. Like, he can only make amethyst illusions? No, come on, he's better than that.
Yeah.
The set's like all made. They're like hearing this and they're just like, no.
They're already planning to type up an apology to you. It's like, well, guess what? I'm sorry, Luke.
And this is why we didn't hire you.
Actually, we didn't touch on this, but set 7 will be the first set that they actually had feedback from set 1 to adjust things and create new cards off of things that weren't in production. And so set 8, they will have had 2 sets of feedback. And so here we can start seeing more things that we've either complained or liked about, and have them have actual like responses to, where the first 6 sets were pretty much untouched by any of what the community had thought or felt in the first few sets.
Yeah,
That's good,
because
that's
they mentioned, was it in the art team or the gameplay one, where Sapphire Coil was different, or they've changed it before pushing it?
Should have changed it even more. Should be uninkable.
A few of the cards that they brought up in that, I think that was the gameplay one, they said that they had, they were altered from what the original view was.
Yeah.
So it's more busted.
Maybe it was like -4 initially, and they're like, no, we can't do this.
Yeah. Maybe it was a 1 cost. Who knows? It's like,
God.
I'm just hoping we get a card that says on other player, or just like players can't draw more than 1 card, basically a turn. Just to like make a whole new world, make everyone discard their hand, and then you don't get a draw card, but your opponents do.
Yeah, what's the closest?
You already drew a
Prince
card
John's
for turn.
Mirror is
Prince John
probably
Mirror.
the closest we have to that,
But
and
so
that's not
bad.
quite the same.
No.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah, I just want something that
I want a
static
character.
turn off Flabbersham.
Yeah.
Like
That would be cool.
That'd be interesting. Well, I mean, they're starting to experiment more. They got the Donald pushed lore up one.
Do you think we'll ever
Would you-
get stuff like counter spells?
I was just about to say, would you like some sort of trap? Something
Yes.
that was like
I want traps.
So
If you
traps
do
is
it
how
back to
I
back.
think. I think traps is how they would want to implement it in this game, right? They don't want it to get too complicated, but to have like a card that is triggered off something instead of you saying like a counterspell or something.
it's like
I
secret.
think
Well,
counter
I
spell
want a
isn't
character. I want a character that says, when your opponent plays their second character, you can put this into play for free, and don't ready 2 of your ink,
bad. Yeah.
or something like that.
That'd be
People
awesome.
wanted something like that for discard, like kind of like when you put in, if you're discarding this, instead put it to play or something.
Obstinate Bailoff, that bad boy.
Yeah.
You can do stuff like that. Yeah. Wasn't there's a mechanic in Magic where it's like,
Madness.
yeah, Madness. Yeah, play for the Madness cost when it's this card. I think that's kind of cool too. And have it
Yeah,
synergize with Green
Which,
Steel.
and the judges have started saying, like, don't ready your ink at the end of turn. It makes sense. I mean, currently
Yeah.
it's only really Mufasa that's
Yeah.
relevant with.
Very niche.
But
Yep.
But I mean, good habits are good to build, because there'll probably be something at some point.
Yep.
I think with how powerful songs are, they might need to like rethink that design and make something like slightly weaker, like melody or something, and it does the same thing as songs, but you sing it for 1 ink instead of free, and
Yeah.
that makes like you can do like a second tier of songs for like powerful ones that like are good, but if they're free, they're like busted, like type
Like,
situations.
reason why I don't mind counter spells and stuff, because it creates more interaction where you have to ink and pay more attention how you ink, and make your opponent look at what you ink as well, like how much ink you have floating in case you have a counter spell. And I don't think it'll ever get too complicated, because like Magic has so many compact phase damage on a stack to do this and that, right? So I think the game is simple enough where you
Yeah.
can still implement
And
that,
I
where
don't-
it's still not being too complicated.
I don't think they're ever going to do it though.
Yeah.
I think initially I could have said it would happen when they were like, we don't want a digital client, but now I think we know that they're going to eventually have one. Like there's no way they don't.
I think you have to in this day of age in order for the TCG to survive. Because any big TCG, they all have it.
You just can't have traditional counter magic in a good digital client. Having a stop every action you do to let your opponent do something is not good gameplay. That was like Pixelborn was so fun because it was quick, easy, right?
That's true.
But you could have things like there are times you have to wait, like discard a card. Well, you do have to wait for your opponent to choose a discard a card. So something that triggers when you discard a card, that's a good time, right? Because it's not stopping the action any more than it's already been stopped. You're like, oh, I'm going to discard this, which triggers this, which puts like triggers good, like responses not good necessarily. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's almost why I didn't like Legends of Runeterra too much, because it was almost like a game of like Blindsman Bluff, where you're like passing priority and like hoping that they also pass, or like you're hoping that they play something. And the game is more about like reading your opponent and
I was
guessing.
say, it does add
stack
another
is the
layer.
worst thing.
Yeah.
I hated the fact that you could only put 10 things in the stack.
Oh wait, there was a limit?
There was a limit because later on it could
lost
actually
to
be
that.
reached pretty easily.
Yeah. So I was gonna say like,
lost to that.
here's your screen, just like bum 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 bum. All right, 10 makes sense. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think I
there
ever
were
got
some
that high.
toxic combos if there was no limit. Yeah, because
I
like
just know I got in Counter Wars and lost because I didn't realize there was a limit, so I didn't calculate where I would be on the line.
But yeah, I think if they did do some form of interaction like Counterspell-esque, it would just be straight up like Hearthstone, like secrets, right?
And those were like really fun to play around, because you're like, oh man, if it's this trap, I play this, I just like lose, but like,
Yeah.
how do I play around this? And there's like a deep level of thinking to playing around traps correctly. Like,
It also was like, it wasn't a huge pool either. Like back in the day, Mage, for example, had, I think it was 3 or 4, and they were all like very easy specific things, like when an opponent plays a character, when you take damage, and when you take lethal damage, and when you
Wasn't there
when you
actually
play a spell.
like there's like 8, but only like 4 that were even remotely?
Yeah, there's a lot more now.
Isn't that kind of how it was?
Yeah.
Mirror Image, Ice Block,
Counterspell and Ice Barrier. Yeah.
Yep. Love Ice Barrier.
It's like, I'm going to play this character just to see if your trap triggers. The problem with traps like that, though, is like, oh, I'm just going to forget to trigger my trap because I don't want to counter that.
That is an issue.
That's a
That's
very
a good
big
point.
issue.
It has to be digital, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
So
then
it'd
if they
have to
like
be-
forget it, like you rewind it, like if I'm a judge, I'm like giving that a game loss, because that's like hard to rewind all the way.
It'd have to be known information. Like, Magic had things called, like, Spiketail Hatchling or Void Mage Prodigy. Basically, that's something in play that says, like, this can counter something. Like, when your opponent plays a character, you can banish this. If you do, your opponent must pay 2 ink. If they don't, that card is banished.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, it might be fine to have it like as a face-up card.
Yeah,
Like
true.
they know what it is, and they have to play into it or around it, like however
Stand
they
still.
want. Yeah. Oh, you have that in the last for a turn? All right, pass. Ink pass.
Yeah, make it an actually, yeah, just an action. That, like, a 4-cost action, you play it on your next turn, prevent the first card your opponent plays. Like, counter the first card your opponent plays.
Yeah, like it
kinda
just sticks
cool.
around
Maybe
for
that's
a
a
turn.
time walk.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a time walk. They can still quest. They can still challenge. They could even play like a develop, get it countered, and then play a 3-drop. Like,
Yeah, like there is plenty of counterplay to it too, right? It's like, I'll just play this
Do
Olaf
we think tokens will ever be a thing?
one day.
Hope so. If Mirabelle exists.
Yeah, I was gonna say Maribel kind of needs some help.
Or
I
you're
was
supposed
just like,
to
what does
go-
Clarabelle need help for? But you didn't say Clarabelle. You said Maribel.
They want you to play Rockstar Stitch, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, people were
Rockstar Stitch
we
would be so
talked
good with
about
tokens.
tokens, and people were complaining like, oh well, then you have to get like extra stuff. Like, couldn't they just make them like the puzzle pieces?
Yeah, they could just make them puzzle pieces. Yeah. Like, with the way the game is, tokens would have to be very. I don't know. Like, they'd need like a very special rule set because like, if you have a lot of token cards that can get out of hand, like Scapegoat from Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, just like create 4 tokens. If that was in Lorcana, that would be so busted if I just go like Scapegoat into like 99 puppies and just quest with everything for like 1 million. Like,
yeah, I'd almost think they'd all have to be illusions.
Yeah, all illusions or literally no lore, no nothing, right? Yeah. Just straight up just a token, just a body.
Keyforge at some point had a thing where like the tokens you made were actually just cards off the top of your deck. Oh. Like face down. And then, like, when they were banished or something, they went like into your discard or somewhere else. I didn't play much of that set.
That's like Manifest. Yeah. How much Magic did you guys play? Ray's played some.
So I think me and Josh might have qualified for Magic without ever playing Magic, maybe. Yeah. For the Nationals, because when you for Yu-Gi-Oh 1 year,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, for Yu-Gi-Oh 1 year, yeah, we qualified for the Magic Nationals without playing, so that was fun.
How did that work? I don't even remember. That was so weird.
I think Konami, I think Upper Deck owned like Yu-Gi-Oh, and they got bought out, and so there wasn't a Nationals that year, and so Magic wanted to steal players, and so they gave everyone who had a Yu-Gi-Oh invite a Magic Nationals invite.
That's pretty smart.
That's pretty cool.
I think only like three to five people like took advantage of it, and they all did horrible.
Not necessarily. My buddy Austin, he qualified. He was in contention for day 2 up until like the last round or something like that.
Wow. Nice.
Let's see. I played the block before and after Theros standard for like, was that like a 2.5 year spread or so?
Oh yeah.
Like, I just assumed that Josh didn't play much based on they make 4 tokens. I'm like, bro,
no. Like, I know it can get much worse. I didn't want to go overboard, obviously, creating like 1 million tokens. Yu-Gi-Oh was so much simpler because you're limited to 5 zones, right? So, like, I like draft and Magic a lot. And I've played, when was the last time I played Constructed? Like, I played Arena for a bit. Oh, I played when Oko was there, and Cat Cauldron. I love Cat Cauldron.
Ooh,
but yeah.
Nice.
Wonder, were you getting about the Elf deck? That's just the token land in Elves.
I mean, like, I played Magic for like 20 years. I've seen all sorts of tokens. And, like, swords exist. Like, Avalanche exist. Mm-hmm. But they're not nearly as good because we don't have tokens. Mm-hmm. Like, you were like, 99 puppies would be, like, good. Let it be actually playable card. Like, the more playable cards, the better. Like...
The fear I had was...
Imagine that there was a Bitter Blossom for puppies.
So, definitely. At the beginning of your upkeep, your opponent gains a lore. Make a 1/1 token that quests for 1.
Yeah. I think that's cool.
Like, I'm fine with small token generators. It's like the bigger ones that worry me.
Yeah.
Or the loopable kind of like recursion ones where you can, if you had like, say if it was like a Sapphire item that, pay like 4 ink, make a token. Sapphire can kind of like get out of hand sometimes.
I think Magic has stuff like that, where like Artifact, where like you pay X life and then you can make a token. Like same cost as on play.
Phyrexian Processor.
Yeah, Phyrexian. That'd be cool.
I'm gonna know all these cards you describe. I'm gonna know the card.
And I'm sitting here going, I don't know what any of these
are. So imagine an item for 2 that says whenever a character, or it says banish an item, make a 1/1 character. And then imagine an item that says if this is in your discard pile, whenever a 1/1 character comes into play, put this into play and equip it to it, which gives it like +2/+1. Okay. So that there is a combo that's you pay 1 and you make infinite 1/1s, basically. Like you make a 1/1 for each one you pay. That was a combo.
Oh, that's Sword of the Meek with the Narcomoeba. There's that. Yeah.
Sword of the Meek and
with the
Thopter Foundry.
Thopter Foundry, yeah. Remember. Yeah. That was a fun
But
build.
tokens, like, occasionally Bitter Blossom, that happens, but there's thousands of token cards.
Oh, yeah.
In general, they're not that oppressive. and I think it adds extra elements like Brawl, Brawl and Medusa and Sisu, baby Sisu, become much worse when on turn 3 I play a 3-cost action that makes 2/1/1 tokens that quest for 1. But if I had just played a 2/2, that's okay-ish because it trades with them, right? Like, they might gain a little over it. I can keep that. 1/3s maybe become better. Like, I think tokens could actually open up quite a few avenues of gameplay.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. I think so too.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with tokens, just as long as I don't think the game can support a mass token generator yet.
Yeah. No.
That's my only fear.
I also, I'm like kind of a segue, kind of not. It's like I'm like an answer to tokens is like swords, right?
Yeah, so
But-
it's avalanche, like you said. Yeah,
I kind of wished we had another removal color, like because we have 2, right? But if we had a third, imagine if Ruby didn't have B prep and that was somewhere else. But like I say Ruby because they have like teeth. But why don't we have a teeth that's like a swords, like a mass teeth that hits both sides?
Yeah.
And then like,
like
that
a
could be
Defile
that color
or
identities.
something like that.
Oh,
Shadow
man.
Flame.
Shadow
Defile.
Flame.
Plasm and magic, but yeah,
Yeah.
like something that just damages everything. That makes Rapunzel's better, so there's some play to it.
Wait,
like,
yeah. We actually have? We don't have a card that damages both sides, right?
No,
No.
we don't.
just teeth.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like blue, yellow.
Well, teeth
is
and scar technically.
Yeah.
Maybe Amber could fill that role. You know,
Yeah.
Does the
Get-
5-cost steel thing that deals damage to evasives or non-evasive?
Oh, that
Is
is
that
both
all?
sides. That's both sides.
Yeah.
Tug of war.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's also
no, it's
not
also
near enough
opposing.
damage.
It's not
yeah.
both.
Oh, it's just opposing.
No, each opposing, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Also,
a cool
Muses
mechanic.
answers tokens.
Oh, there's a new character coming out. The Baron Geddon. That does damage
Oh,
to
yeah.
both.
That guy. Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Wild.
I couldn't tell you what color that card's in.
It's
What were you
Amber.
saying? I
Oh,
kind of
it's
cut you
Ruby,
off.
Ruby.
Lyle,
Ray.
right.
Lyle,
Yeah.
and Ruby.
It's
Oh, he's in
inkable
the starter deck.
Sisu, but not.
Ray, you were saying something?
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I think that Lyle would have been cool if they made it like a 5 cost and then 2 damage to everything, even to
Yeah.
Well,
yourself.
it'd be cool if he was actually Baron Geddon where he didn't damage himself.
Yeah. He only has 2 uses, right?
He gets 2 turns.
For the most part.
Yeah.
My favorite Hearthstone card was Doomsayer, which was just a 0/7 if he survives a
Were
turn.
you a freeze mage player?
I was.
Yeah,
I was a fatigue warrior freeze mage. I'm the greediest control person in every
Yep.
game.
Me and you, J-Bomb.
But that card was a 0/7, and if it lives until your next turn, just destroy just re-prep.
Yeah.
Very fun.
That was a fun time.
So just like if you have that come into play exerted. Yeah.
That was a magic card too. Like it seems, I'm sure a lot of games made a character like if there was a card that destroys all characters, most made a character that was like at the start of your turn destroy
Yeah.
all characters.
Miles
Yeah.
Dash would
I
have been
think it's
so
a cool
cool
mechanic.
if it was like that.
Yeah, when the game's designed off of these like 1 mana, 1 ink, like 1/1s, you're kind of limited with all of your design choices. So a lot of cards are gonna be quite similar to Magic in that vein, and Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I mean, just to annoy people, we'll just say Magic copied Lorcana.
Well,
Well, but that's been the end of
Richard.
this podcast.
It's like all those people
One
that
of-
say Dota copied League. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
the funny thing is like Lorcana is kind of what Richard Garfield wanted Magic to be. Because like Magic really quickly evolved outside of what like Richard Garfield's like description and dream kind of was. Like it was always kind of like he wanted creatures brawling with each other, like epic fights, right? And instead you have us control players like playing removal, playing B preps and things like that. Where it's like Garfield wouldn't like Sisu, like he wouldn't like red blue, but
He'll play
like I think
purple
he'd like
decks.
everything else. Yeah, he would definitely play. I think he'd like red purple. I mean, yeah, jams with characters.
Blurple is challenging.
He'd love Blurple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blurple's a good one. Amber Emerald.
probably hate Green Steel.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't like singing.
Yeah.
But singing is so good. Like, it makes sense why they haven't made more songs, right? Like, it's proven to be very difficult to
I was gonna say, I think
It's
during
tough
your
to
set review,
balance.
you mentioned it, right? It's like, we kind of have a feeling that they're just trying to figure out how to balance it well.
Yeah, the data supports that they've slowed down on songs. We can make guesses towards that it's potentially because they can't balance it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
The strongest
Aw.
songs are still set 1 songs.
So you're saying I can't get an upgraded Sun and Chill that's hypnotized and it's a song?
Maybe that's not true. Because you were saying that set 7 that we're going into is the first one that they had feedback, right? So theoretically, wouldn't that be the first reflection that they're having issues balancing it? Because, like, unless they had already known that songs are going to be a problem and pushed it anyways, like, maybe they viewed songs as, like, that a couple sets mechanics, and they're just, like, cutting back to push other things forward a little bit, and then we'll go back to songs being another mechanic, like, heavily pushed again.
Okay, I don't know where the data lies for this. There's no way we're running out of like songs in each IP, right?
No, there's a lot.
No,
Like the
not
lyrics
that way.
too.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, like,
Lyrics, yeah, they're not
But
always
what if the lyrics
just
suck? What if there's like a part they don't want? You know?
I mean, maybe, but
All right, I just had to throw it out. Just want to make sure we're not running out of songs.
Yeah, what are they gonna do?
Is the Ariel song where she's like
Kiss the Girl?
singing about her collection? Is that a song?
Yeah, part of your world.
Treasures Untold.
Treasures
Is-
Untold. Yeah.
Treasures Untold. Okay.
Well,
Wait, no, what's the name of the song
The song's
itself?
part of your world,
Yeah.
Oh,
Part of your world. I was like, that's not.
which
yeah.
is also a card.
Wait, that's an Amber song.
Yeah,
right?
it's an Amber song.
Trying to reach the flavor of that card right now.
I think that one's like
Get a character back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
I don't know
part
how
of
it
your world.
kind of. Yeah.
It should be like one jump ahead, or not one jump ahead. Just in time, like
Yeah.
a card like that, a part of your world. It's like a portal, so you're like.
can
maybe
I share
ramping or
images
something.
here? Yeah.
One jump
absolutely.
ahead, perfect flavor.
One jump ahead, I think, is just like
make
a
this.
really good name. It could
Yeah.
have been used for a lot of different
Right,
things and been
right.
very flavorful.
Yeah.
So this
That's
is sets and their breakdowns. And this is where the song trend has been going. And this was Sing Together, and that's why it was a little bit boosted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the last 3 sets, less songs.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that because this set is the one I really noticed. I was like, okay, no locations, we're seeing a lot of characters. There doesn't seem to be a lot of songs. I was surprised that it was 7 and 6 for the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised how
of
many
characters.
items there are in every set, and like how many items must just be like horrible for me to not remember like any of those items.
It's all the amber ones.
Oh yeah, how much life can you take off your characters?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
There's
less
a lot
actions
of
too,
crappy items.
as well. Yeah. Interesting. And in no locations at all, which I found.
Towel Man was not happy.
That tracks.
Towel Man in shambles.
Yeah.
I wonder
he,
why.
He does 2 things. He plays locations and he quests. And he's all out of locations this set.
Hmm.
Yeah, there is no location this set actually.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of I think, and again I know I said it before, the artwork
Is this
for that starter deck having singers on them, I think Reign of Jafar, maybe it turns it and there's more songs again.
Maybe
But
we have
your
more
math is,
Sing Together.
You need to put zeros. You need to put zeros in place instead of those dashes.
Oh, you want
'Cause
zeros
the
instead?
average of 6 should not be the same average as 7, right?
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, thank you. There you go. That's better then.
I would like to see more Sing
It was
Together
like just triggering my
mechanics.
tism.
Cards.
Yeah. I think Sing Together should get a bit more.
Oh yeah, I would love some more Sing Together.
playable one, please. Not unplayable ones.
Yeah, we've got like Under the Sea.
I want to see.
Undersea and
like 4
Parts
cost
Life. It's
and
probably the most
5
common
cost.
one.
Yeah, more 4
Yeah.
cost,
Sing
5
together.
cost.
Give them sing together too.
Yeah, you're like middle ground.
Yes, so I can
Yeah,
sing
let
with
some
Ursula
non-characters
3.
sing or sing.
Ursula 3 with Diablo. Yes. Double sing.
You know what? You're right. Bend to My Will should have been a sync together. Good job, team.
Yep.
Oh my god, could you just
give us-
imagine
Just give us a 6 cost, inkable, sing together, ruby, deal 3 damage to all characters.
I like that, actually.
Then play Rapunzel, draw 3 cards. Pass the turn.
Doesn't that
Pretty
just...
good turn 4 play. Wipe
pretty
your
good.
board, draw 3 cards. Maybe it's too good.
But you still have a Rapunzel and green purples and shambles.
They have nothing, and you lost your Cindy, but you have your Ursula.
Yeah.
And whatever, and your Lawrence.
Two. What's Hammer Time?
what? Oh, that's just that's a Discord
That's the timestamp thing, right?
the timestamp thing.
Oh, okay.
That's funny because I thought it's a Magic deck name too.
Oh.
And I was literally just playing Pokemon on my Switch, and there was like a hammer throw or something ability I just learned. I was like, wait, did I like look up like an ability over here?
Ability.
But yeah, I guess that's probably it for today. Any last thoughts?
Have you talked about how the speculation that people think that they're going to make items that are equipment
Yes.
Yes.
We did
We
briefly
touched
touch on
on
that.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. It
because the pack art?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pack
Yeah.
art. Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely an interesting thought.
Mulan's
yeah,
got
last
the
cannon and plasma blaster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
Could do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine playing Stitch with his plasma blaster.
Yeah, like I guess it would sort of function like Shift. Like you would just put the item underneath them, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or do it like Magic, where you pay to equip it and it gets like X
Yeah.
whatever.
The only problem with that is like it's like an old item, so you'd have to put that text on the character, I guess, right?
Yeah.
No, you just make a new version of Plasma Blast.
Yeah.
Oh, just
A
like
new- yeah.
Yeah,
reprint a new
I
version.
think you would
Okay.
Just make a new.
reprint.
Make
So
a new
you just
version.
ignore the old ones. I see.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're putting out how many items per set? I think they could just make
Yeah.
new ones.
I mean, what the game kind of needs is more characters, items, and characters and items that have activation abilities that are relevant.
And they don't die to Sisu.
Well, yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, like even giving something like you attach it and it gives like a character +2/+2, and it's like that could be very helpful because like you're keeping the stats and stuff, and
Be like coil this now.
yeah, exactly.
All right. How about this? A 2 cost quest for 2/2 that says on your opponent's turn, all of your characters get +2 strength. Or all of your on your opponent's turn, all your characters get +2 strength, and all of your opponent's characters gain resist 2. As an answer to Sisu. That doesn't like prevent characters being able to like still challenge your stuff.
It's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
How much would it cost?
Very pointed.
I like it.
2.
2?
Yeah.
Oh,
What,
yes.
what about vehicles? We get into a sardine can. All characters that are in the sardine can have ward. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Isn't that what the new Magic set is?
Couldn't location be like that?
Yeah.
All your characters in this
Yeah,
location.
locations are pretty much like that.
Yeah, game ward. You can do stuff like
So
that.
the Rescue Rangers flying vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
is that a location? Is that an item? Could that be either?
Yeah, it could be either.
Either. I mean, they're making boats locations.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they're also
RLS
boats an
Legacy.
item, longboat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's whatever they want it to be.
whatever you
So I
can
don't
imagine.
think they need vehicles then, because locations kind of do that.
I do think equipment is interesting, though. I like that idea.
And
That'd be cool.
And they should learn from Magic, because vehicles are either busted or garbage. It's like one of those design spaces that you just can't fix. Like, items, kinda. I mean, artifacts aren't that way in Magic, so you'd think in Lorcana. But, you know, Popsicle is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, any free cantrips that, like, can give permanent stuff is just always good.
I honestly think Popsicle is only good because of Flaversham. If Flaversham did not exist as a card, I would not play... Like, people don't play Fortisphere in Steel decks, right?
Right.
Popsicle would see very little play if Flaversham didn't exist.
Flaversham is a very imbalanced card. The fact that it's inkable, 1/6, draw 2 cards.
And Flaversham without Popsicle would be not nearly as good. Still good, but the early turns would be much worse.
I wonder if they just didn't realize. Like, maybe they had buffed Popsicle last second from a 2-drop to a 1-drop. Which, like, you don't think that is that relevant, but it's pretty dang relevant.
It's pretty good.
Like, it's just crazy. And, like,
well, I guess
my Magic...
It's like their first TCG. It's like, how much knowledge do they have when it comes to these sort of gameplays? There's that too, right?
Well, it's RB's first TCG, but the creators played Magic.
Okay.
And, but the gameplay does... Like, I'm Magic pilled. And there are cards that play like a whole new world. I'm like, this card's busted. It was busted.
It is busted.
But there's other cards I look at and I'm like, this is busted. And then it just kind of falls flat.
Yeah.
Like when I read B Prep, I'm like, I can't believe this is 3 too much. This is way too expensive. Because in Magic, like Wrath effects over 5 are laughably too slow.
Because you lose by turn 3 or 4 against like red deck wins.
Yeah. And but theoretically, their characters are questing for it's a tier lower. Mm-hmm. Lorcana takes the power and toughness that Magic is modern Magic's at right now, but because they quest for 1 and 2, it's like the threat density that they were from like a decade and a half ago. So it creates this like interesting thing, and you can't block. That also drastically changes how good some cards are.
Yeah, I think the lore is like makes your game have a lot more design choices than just like attacking and doing health with that.
Mm-hmm.
It adds the extra layer where it's like this character is fragile but still damages you a lot. In Magic it would have had to be like a 1/1 that when it deals damage to a player, deal an extra 3 damage, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and they didn't really go that route, and everything has that in this.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. I like it. Obviously.
The only thing right now that I wish was more prevalent were exert actions. What pulled me to Lorcana was I played a lot of... The game I was playing most before this was Keyforge. And Keyforge has a lot of similar character interactions. It's you either challenge something, you quest for a resource, or you do an action. But Keyforge had a lot of characters that had really cool action interactions that you could do combo pieces and stuff. And we just don't really have... Most of the exert actions are just pretty...
Very
meager.
Yeah.
The combo pieces in general they're very afraid of combo.
Yeah, they're being very safe.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Well, you can tell by this set, right? Even like we thought like the dual colors is gonna like give these combination a big boost. And then you see green purple gets this like Diablo. It's like, why did you even bother? It's like such a tease.
And I always
both 1-drops are just strictly better.
Yeah.
And I always like card games at their infancy because the games are always a lot more fair and like you're fighting for board, you're fighting for control. And as games evolve, they almost always become these like combo only combo's the only way to be successful because of like the power creep. Like you have to be doing broken things every turn, and so the games get less and less fair.
Red blue is already heading that direction.
That's why it's the nice thing about Magic was counter Magic.
Yeah.
And like that kind of helps stop combo, because like if you're a fragile combo and then counter something, you lose.
Yeah.
So it like you have to have a resilient combo deck. But when that happens, when you have the beatdown deck that then has a oh whoops I win the game combo that like as a backup plan, gets kind of devastating.
Yeah.
It's kind of like running a queen in red purple and then LeFouing it and gaining 8 lore out of nowhere.
No one's doing that. Don't worry about that card. That card should not be bought, and stock's low.
Yes.
Speaking of money,
my foils.
Gold Mickey. When do we think they're going to release 301 through 500, and where? Do we think it's going to be just Asia, or
I still like that theory.
Why are they holding
What's
out?
the math? How many events?
For what?
To give out
There's
the rest.
200 of them. How many do they give out at each event? Like, how many DLCs is this going to be? How many are being given away at Worlds? Like,
yeah, we don't know.
Are they going to surprise it and be like top?
Oh wait, is that the current thought process? Is that they've held everything 300 and below?
No, they've held 301 to 500. 301 to 500 has not been given out yet.
that they only gave out 300 and below. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that confirmed
Has
anywhere,
one been
or is that
found?
just
based
speculation?
Based on math, it'd be like there's like a 99.999% chance that 301 through 500 are not being given out right now.
Like the fact that we haven't seen a single over 300 and they've handed out this many is ridiculously
What's the
small.
lowest number?
Makes sense.
The lowest
number? 5.
5? Oh, you've got it open? Okay.
Yeah, I got it open.
Like actual?
I know 5,
So maybe
8...
4. Maybe 4 just hasn't been shown, and they're keeping the top 3 for like literal first, second, third, or something.
That'd be actually sweet, because like being randomly given number 1, like getting like the 8th Mickey at like a random DLC and then getting number 1 would be like great for that person.
1, 2, 3, 4 makes more sense.
Yeah.
Than
1, 2, 3, 4.
Unless they do a huge
The
match.
only issue with that is like, I guess if you win Worlds, you get 2 golden Mickeys. Like, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just
you get both number 1 gold Mickeys. That's a payout.
That's
bro.
it just seems a bit funny, but I could see that happening still.
Yeah.
I would like them to do different golden cards than just hand out Mickeys for all of these DLCs.
I think everybody's kind of like...
Well, yeah, that's why I want them to get rid of them.
Yeah, everybody's kind of waiting, right?
Like
for the next
like
DLC.
a golden Ariel or something. It's kind of cool.
Because
golden interesting Winnie the Pooh.
The interesting thing too is the collectors are pricing the Mickey as if it's out of 500, and if they just like stop giving them out, the Mickeys like double overnight, like instantly.
Yeah.
Like if they just say we're not going to give out 301 through 500 now.
Luke's diamond handings over there.
Yeah.
I was staring at his eyes as I said it.
I think they would double in price.
Like
Go on, sir.
I mean, I might have like actually shown more celebration and emotion in the few seconds when I realized I qualified for Worlds than I did when I won the DLC. Like no one was around, so I was just like, "Let's go!" Like my kids, like, "What's going on?"
That was
like,
a pretty random day for us all to get that news. That was pretty cool to know that all
just,
those people
drinking my morning coffee.
Yeah.
Just
they didn't even contact you. You just like heard it through.
No, they heard it from us. Like I think some of us were telling. Like I reached out to the rat and I was like, "Congrats." He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Like just some people were just like didn't know because it was just a random news article that just went out.
I'm just happy they did it because it's something I was saying for a while. I'm like, they should just give like all the winners just instant to like Worlds.
Yeah, that was a nice thing that they did.
It's cool that it happened. Yeah.
I want to go on the record, and the rat did know. I was just making an example, but yeah. Don't come at me, Brian. I love you.
I could have even seen them doing first and second, just to make it like closer to a 64.
Yeah, it's currently weird, right? Like the numbers, how they add up. So
28 currently.
we'll have to see if they somehow round that out.
They haven't announced the date yet for Worlds. Right?
Oh, we got nothing. We got nothing.
Okay.
No Worlds, no DLCs, no nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, DLCs are okay because the last cycle didn't start until when was Atlanta?
24th.
Right. So and tickets went on sale like a month before it. So
yeah,
still time.
Yeah, but everyone's just hoping.
Who are the free?
Yeah,
who's the free 4 invites? Do they do content creator invites? Is it like, here's an invite for Earl, here's one for Spessy or Baker, here's one for some United States content creators, I don't know.
It'd be weird to
Raise like me, please me.
I'm trying, I'm growing my YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be weird to not have 32 players, because 32 is such a good Swiss number. It's such a good Swiss number.
I mean, on the flip side, if it's 2-game format, does it really matter how many players you got?
True.
No, it has to be best of 3. Come on, it's Worlds.
I firmly do not expect them to not have a 2-game format. They'll have a 2-game format piece.
I think they're they're so set in their ways that they won't.
I would argue that because they're doing a new TO, right? Organized plays being completely redone, that there's the possibility that they don't do it just to start anew. If they are going to listen to our advice ever, they should start with Worlds because it's a new
so Worlds
system,
would spearhead whatever they want to go forward.
Exactly.
Okay.
I guess a question, Pete, for you: was 2-game format in the Ravensburger client thing?
Let's hope not.
It was not. But that might have been because it was a best of 3. Mm-hmm. Let me ask my LGS runner.
Yeah, it was just a curious thought,
the settings behind it. Maybe she might remember.
You're
if that was there.
You're setting up your LGS to leak NDA information.
All right, I mean, I'll talk to someone I know. I didn't say anything else. No, it was just report stuff. But you have to remember, the card the Play Network, they had a rough go at it when it switched to 2-game format.
They didn't even fix it in the end
because it wasn't ready for it. Yeah.
But
I just think it's funny that over the course of the thing, you slowly saw people who were fans of 2-game format eventually be like, I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, Worlds, I don't know when it's going to be or how they're going to fill out the rest, but definitely it's not going to be content creators. I will flip.
Maybe they'll include
my
some
shit.
of the Asia players, and they're waiting for that.
That's also kind of would be
I think that
makes
would probably
sense,
make
right?
sense for Worlds, right?
The only problem is
did
they're
make
behind.
The
right?
announcement.
Are they?
They made the announcement that the Japanese events were qualifying for Worlds 2026, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it said 2026, as well as.
Oh, let's hope that's not the same Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it also said their own nationals first is what they qualify for, and then
Yeah, and then that would make more sense.
Yeah, but also including them seems also unfair because they're behind so many sets, right?
I mean, is it? If you could travel there and play anyways, you have the same capability. If you have wallet, is it fair that they didn't get a play set 4 DLC and we did? Is it fair that us Toronto people had a unique DLC no one else got to play? I think that's unfair. I hated that format.
Yeah.
But I don't actually think that's unfair. That's just part of the game, and
I think
you're gonna have dead format.
It's different.
I think there is an advantage.
Yeah, it's different going back to formats than jumping ahead formats, right?
Yeah. I think there is advantage going back just because your matchup knowledge is you know much more on how to play
for us.
Things. Yeah.
But look at what's been winning.
Yeah.
I just want to go over there and win. It's very egotistical, but I just want to go crush some set 1 based on what I've been seeing winning. I'm do these people not understand Like, are they just like using their swords early? Do they not know they have to like tink sword in the same
that's
turn
another
and
thing
not
too.
get hit by?
I think the difference is we have access to Pixelborn during that time, and we were playing against each other, the best of the best. Where I think they don't have that. Let's say like they don't have like a sort of like a strong local for Lacana, right? So how are they really testing?
Yeah. There has to be some players though that speak good enough English that they can watch old YouTube content. There has to be YouTube content of these events where we crushed and talked about it.
My green yellow guide got traction with some Eastern sites and stuff. And that was even before, that was like, the game had been announced that it was coming out there, but like they didn't have this stuff. They were just consuming it. I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's always neat watching old formats develop because like, sometimes it goes, oh, I knew this would be good or whatever. And then it always there's always like some change, right? There's always some morph to the format where you're like, oh, if we kept playing this format, blue yellow's like super duper popular, or green steel is actually like not as bad, right? Like it all depends how much time.
Should lose to Amber Steel.
The songs are so busted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just Ariel.
It could have been a scenario that because we played so much Pixelborn, the deck might not have been the best deck, but we are still beating people with it because we knew the matchup so well.
Yeah.
That like maybe had everyone else been caught up and played as much as us, the meta would have shifted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot. It's like
I'm honestly kind of surprised that the red purple isn't dominating because of those same things. Like,
yeah, red purple
because at the beginning here it
very
crushed.
Powerful. Oh yes, even in the Toronto scene, like it was just red purple everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like the version of Amber Steel that I played was 1,000% geared to be able to beat red purple. It's like, okay, I need to shift this. I'm playing this hook shift line because I can use it. It doesn't get hit by Rafiki. They have to Maui. They can't, like, they don't get to 5 before they can Maui or Dragonfire. So I have an ability to be able to shift, sing Whole New World and not have them take out my hook. Then I can deploy more cards, sing another Whole New World before they're able to answer my singers, and then have a big enough threat, and then maybe like 2-tap them before B prep comes on. Or if they get the B prep, I can then rebuild with like a shift Rockstar Conga line.
Yeah.
And like those are some play patterns that took me dozens and dozens of games to get down when exactly I need to be doing all of it. And like also mulliganing, because I like how you mulligan Amber Steel now is so much different than how I mulled in set 1. And I know like DeCandio didn't mull the same as me in set 2 at least, and probably in set 1 where he keeps a more mid hand, right? He's like, oh, I have action, I can play a fair game, I can win. And I'm just like, no, I need shift target, I need Whole New World. If I don't have it, I'm doing it. I mulled like it was Diablo.
Yeah, you're going for the busted lines, like the high roll win,
because that's how you beat red purple.
Yeah. And for us, same thing.
A Rathian
we slow
wasn't
you
messaging
down,
you.
B prep and Ursula.
Yeah, if your DMs weren't filled by Rathian. But yeah. I guess that's it for tonight.
Yep.
So what, we went over set 7, set 8, new melee replacement.
Decks that we're interested in.
Judge program a little bit. Some decks we're excited about.
Yeah.
No,
So I guess
we covered quite a bit of topics today. Really good.
Quite a lot of stuff. So I guess next week, hopefully there's something to talk about before set release, but maybe we'll delay until like the day of. But we'll see. We'll see what we got.
We can talk about limited.
Yeah, we could do a limited session next set or
honestly,
next week.
Drafting takes skills, but obviously it's not as skillful as Magic, right? Because
there's gonna be a good topic next week. Yes.
Well, Magic obviously is much harder to draft than Lorcadia.
Yeah, same for next week. Right?
But there is skills though to it.
So maybe at some point we should do some in-house or something like that, a draft, but do it where you have to draft 2 colors.
Yeah, that'll be
like maybe a restriction like that would create a better draft experience.
It'll definitely be harder.
What if?
Too.
Yeah.
What if you had to declare your 2 ink colors and you could only play cards of those colors? Like, play them, but you could have other cards in your deck that you could only ink.
Oh, you can.
Like,
That's interesting.
So if
I
you
think that's
draft
too
enough
hard.
colors, you could still play the other cards just.
I don't want to play with lands. It's like-
I don't want to play. There's a reason why I'm playing Lorcana, and it's because I didn't want to play with
Let's
lands.
leave this for next week.
True.
Yeah, the next session. I think there's a lot to talk about there.
No, but you're right. It's a terrible idea. I hate it.
But that is
The
a
main
terrible
reason
idea.
I play Lorcana is I don't get mana screwed.
Do we have do we have a sign off phrase? I didn't check
not
that.
really.
No.
Shout out to everyone who joined. We got our aspiring YouTuber Ray, like he said, So follow him. I'll put your YouTube in the description.
Thank you.
We got Luke. He's some guy who's like starting content creation. He's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then we got
won a
Pete here.
DLC. Unlike
Yeah.
us, we're not DLC winners.
Yeah.
I assume that
We're
we're,
not
in
the
a
cool
different
club.
order on all of our screens based on where everyone's
Oh
pointing.
yeah, that's true. I don't even know if you guys are in the same position.
No, that's why I
Yes,
pointed
You're
different,
below me.
pointed different ways.
You're
I don't
below
get
me.
on the bases.
Okay. For me, Luke is here, and then Pete is here, and then
Okay.
Josh is on the far side.
Yeah, for me, Josh pointed off to nothing. That's, I was like, all right.
But yeah, thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
You good?
Bye-bye.
Bye.